So greetings, everybody. My name is Dan, and I am the GM for Multiclass Act, and we are about to start our very first session of Starfinder, finally, after well over a year in the making. But everybody knows how the before times was. We're now happily, hopefully, on the other side. We've already done our session 0, which can be found on YouTube and Twitch. We've also done our character introductions, which we are going to sort of redo today because, well, some people might have missed it. Hopefully today we're going to have a little bit of fun, I think. We all know the mechanics through and through. We're not going to make any mistakes whatsoever. And that's the biggest joke I'm going to tell all day. First things first, our word from our fantastic sponsor. Done. We don't have one, but we'll get there. Yeah, that's easy peasy. And we're very, very happy. Super quiet. Okie dokie. I can turn it up a little bit. There we go. So we're finally happy to get started. And without too much further ado, we're going to jump into tonight's session. Does anybody have any questions before we begin?
No, sir.
No. No? Oh, God, here we go. Clear the cobwebs out.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, far, far away from the hustle and bustle of the Pact Worlds and the Viscarium, we find a ragtag group of individuals, including you all and many, many more. Away from the politics, the wars, the factions, and the day-to-day ongoings of most people who live in what they assume to be called the civilized world, you are on the frontier. You've found yourselves in a very loving, wonderfully named group of individuals called the Losers' Pool. For one reason or another, you were at risk of potentially being evicted from your place of dwelling, which, on a spaceship, is a pretty big deal. The ship you are on, the Mayaposis, is made up of an amalgam of dozens and dozens of other ships that has been traveling through the vast for possibly centuries. At least so the rumors go, that somewhere deep in the center of this ship is the original vessel that goes back from a time before the gaps, some even theorize. That can't be confirmed. Moving through the ship right now, there's a rather stocky Lashunta. It's a telekinetic race of people who find themselves spread all throughout the universe. This Lashunta has a sort of deep yellow skin and a very nice, if not well-worn and work-stained, take this out, if not work-stained flight suit. And he's moving through some of the, well, we'll call it neglected areas of the ship. He's passing by all sorts of strange people, at least strange in most civilized places, but not so much here. He's passing half-orcs, drow, noirs, which are strange horned creatures very similar to minotaurs of age past, androids, and even smaller constructs that don't actually have any true sentience, that are cleaning ceaselessly these hallways, and will never ever catch up. About a couple 100 meters in the distance, there looms a door to Cantina 7, the leaky goldfish, where he knows, waiting for him, there's a group of individuals who have been chosen seemingly at random in a way he doesn't understand to be potentially gifted a job, at the very least to lift them out of the Loser's Pool, at least for one moment, to get their heads above water. In the cantina proper, 6 individuals wait. As I'm going to go get the actual canteen to put it on here and give everybody a good look at our actual miniatures, I want you guys to go ahead and please describe your characters. Name, physical description, and that's really about all we need right now. We'll uncover the rest as we go. Looking for volunteers.
Yeah.
Sure. And I'm going to go get the canteen.
Well, as you would have heard at the in our last session, the name was Thurgood Vale, a 8.5 foot tall, just beaten down, uplifted bear. Business casual, little bit of corporate branding on his very large, expensive looking wristwatch with sort of a blood orange neon face to it. He's sort of currently trying to like situate himself into a corner. Takes up an awful lot of space, and he's sort of stooped in and under there, and he kind of glances at his watch a couple times, and takes up a lot of space, but tries not to take up too much space at all. Yeah, sort of eyeing everybody up and down at the moment.
Fantastic. And we can see Thurgood there on the map, hopefully. It's a little bit whitewashed, but we're going to have pictures for Twitter pretty soon. And he's a fantastic looking mini.
If you put a map under there so it's not black, it might fix it for you.
It might. We'll find out if we need a new map later on. How about that?
Oh, yeah. That'll never happen.
That'll never happen, not in an RPG.
Yeah.
So standing nearby Thurgood, I'm going to point out CV2 is next.
All right. So CV2 is pretty clearly an android. You can see looks like tattoos all over the head and on the hands, but people in this world would know that it's an android. It's the nanites in the body. It's kind of like almost an external blood flow, kind of keeping everything going on the inside. Other than the head and the hands, you can see that CV2 is wearing what looks like some kind of clerical robes. Those familiar with kind of the religions in the area, I guess this is a pretty common one, would know that this is the Church of the Dawnflower, or Sarenrae, who is like the goddess of the sun and life and creation. And the last thing you'll notice about CV2 is the mote of pure sunlight that is very, very, very slowly kind of orbiting around its head. So it doesn't really show up in the mini because it doesn't exist on the mini. Because you should totally do that. That would be amazing. So that would inform you that CV2 is some kind of more mystical type character, which we'll learn more about later.
Esoteric, to say the least.
Esoteric, yes.
I also forgot or neglected to put up the gifts of the first people. So here's Thurgood, just so everybody gets a fantastic look at that wonderful art. Shout out to Ryotsu, wherever she happens to be. And then we'll also throw up CV2. Fantastic. So standing near CV2, I can see a little coral-colored Skittermander.
The little coral-colored Skittermander. His name is Maku, and contrary to his mini, he is currently very nude, except for a white kind of opal scarf that sheens this nice blue color, and he is very, very short, the shortest of everybody in the room, and he has this dark coral on kind of like the outer brinks of him, and then light coral kind of seeping through his face and his hands and his belly, and he is very clearly like just excited. He is not sitting still, and he's kind of just like excited in the cantina. Other than him not wearing any clothes, he doesn't really have any very clear features. He's a little hunky, short, very furry. And but like by him, he's got a little drone that kind of looks almost like a creepy spider, but kind of like offsets Maku a little bit, as Maku is very cute and the drone is a little creepy. So he's just sitting there kind of bouncing around, waiting to talk to everybody.
Fantastic. And next up, I think we have Rulana.
Yeah. So Rulana, she's quite athletically built, although on the lithe side, like she probably hasn't always had enough to eat. Really pale gray skin, and her hair almost fades into that, although it's even lighter. So it's kind of white with light steel blue undertones to it. Hair is all swept over to one side, and the other side is like braided back. And on the side that's braided back down her face and neck, you can see a rather prominent scar that, based on its location, quite clearly could have been lethal. She's wearing kind of like standard space gear, so leathers with some like padding. It's purple up the sides, the rest of it's black. Combat-ish looking boots, and you just get the sense about her that she's aware of everything that's going on around her. The only thing that stands out about what she's wearing is she does have these bracers on that are almost like they remind you of a scarab beetle, so like that iridescent tone to them, scaled over top with red gems in each wrist, and she's got a ring on that's got quite a prominent turquoise blue stone in it.
So very vigilant, I'm gathering.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Sort of tied for last place here, based on geography. We got Nival and Schreiber. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Sure, why not? So I'd say kind of awkwardly standing away from the wall. Nival is standing there. She's around 5'5" to 5'8" in height. Although you can't see most of her body, it's clothed currently in a very heavy-looking black robe that has kind of reminiscent to CV2, some more of the along the edges decorative designs, but instead of it being yellow gold, it is red in her case. Anything that you see on her body is very distinctly metal, and it's very quickly obvious that she is an SRO, a sentient robotic organism. So again, much like CV2, but kind of less human, more to the robot side of things. Anything that isn't fabric is this polished, brilliant white color, broken by this soft, almost sky blue writing or decorations features, let's say. The only writing that you will see is across her hat / helmet / shield she wears on her head are the letters Toko. When she looks up, her face, where you would normally expect to see 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, you see I say either a respirator or a speaker, something that kind of combines her nose and her mouth into one piece, and then one ocular camera as opposed to the secondary. Her movements are entirely still, kind of creepily so. You hear these slight grinding whirs now and again when she moves her head to like unabashedly stare at other people, like unblinking in observation. If you do watch her, the only movement other than her turning her head to look now and again is a little golden scarab beetle that you can kind of see crawling and hiding in various folds and coming out and sitting on her shoulder and tucking away. That is Nival.
Fantastic. I love it. And finally, tied for the best place, Doc.
Last number 1. So standing at the back of the room there is Doc Scriber Orion, a Saki rat, longer than what you think you've seen before. He's got something going on where you can kind of tell he's very used to this no gravity environment and is quite sure that this is where he grew up, in this kind of environment. The best way to describe how he looks right now would be a doctor on a night out in modern 1980. That's the best way to go right now. He's got the pop collar, the white Crips shirt, just tucked into the khakis.
Nice.
And he looks like he'd fit in on like Miami Vice.
Nice.
Miami Mice.
Miami Vice.
Fantastic. So, why is Nival still showing up? My goodness. There we go. So this group of strange sort of passerbys, seeing each other largely for the first time, you find yourselves in, as I said, Cantina 7, the Leaky Goldfish. It's very clear that this canteen hasn't been used in days, if not weeks, possibly months, and maybe even years. Those of you who can smell, there's a strange odor hanging in the air, a sort of almost stale styrofoam, if you can imagine what that smells like. And you can see where it's coming from. Some of the refuse bins in the corner haven't been emptied in quite some time, and have clearly been picked through by strange, probably actual rats, or other sort of pests that mill about in the dark places of spaceships.
Makus.
Actual Makus. Except for it seems as if it's been picked completely clean. Those of you who have sort of maybe spent a moment to look at it can see that every Every food canister has lick marks that have been scorched in from various creatures trying their best to find some morsel of food and haven't been able to. In the far corner of this canteen, there is an actual booth, a kiosk, that normally would be used to serve people, but it's shuttered with a corrugated steel slat. Closed, just as if this canteen has been for a long time. There are several similar corrugated steel doors on the far side of the chamber that are probably storage units of some kind, although it's really hard to guess. They all do certainly appear to be locked. Despite the proliferation of sort of maintenance robots aboard the Myoposis, this is one of the few dirty places you can seem to find. You're deep within the bowels of this ship, and it's clearly neglected. You don't know exactly why you've been called here, just that your name's been called from a pool, and that hopefully gainful employment is on the way. One by one, you've arrived and have just had a couple of moments to gather yourself, sort of adjust your clothes, maybe find a place to sit down, maybe investigate the garbage cans. It's up to you. But for the first time, you actually get to meet one another. So as you one by one came into the room, who's going to break the awkward silence first?
Probably Maku. Maku's just gonna, like, when he busts through the doors, and be like, "Hello, new friends."
Like, hello. I believe you were the one that ate the food serving trays last time.
With just a couple.
But
There was the most of it was already gone.
I just look at the other people like, is that food?
Serving trays? No.
It was fine
Medically,
for me.
no.
Well, I put it in my mouth and I ate it, so I think it's food. Just saying.
The Skittermander has a point.
I like your beetle.
Thank you. His name is Charlie. Okay.
Oh, he's so cool.
Do not eat him.
Oh.
Do not eat him. Come back.
I could get
I
it.
wasn't probably going to eat him. He is very nice. I like him.
I believe you'll find she eats a lot of things that most would not consider food.
I consider them food.
Just hide Charlie some more, like, tuck him away.
I mean, anything is food if you try hard enough, right?
Yes.
So you two have met.
No. We've been on the same ship for a while.
Yes, I've been here for a while. It is very exciting sometimes. Sometimes I'm just so bored, like I have been for the last while, and I'm just really excited to go.
Do we know why we're here? No?
If it's anything like home, I've got an idea.
They probably have a mission for us. I mean, we need to earn our keep. There's that much I can tell. Other than that, the specifics of the mission, not at all.
Rest assured, it'll be end of the line crap.
Yep.
Don't worry. Thurgood is sort of like wandering around sort of the periphery. He's going over to the shuttered kiosk and like rattling it a little bit.
If
Certainly.
you get that open, will you share somewhat of what's inside with me?
You can tell by rattling it, it's not particularly sturdy. It's locked, but it's locked in like a zip tie kind of way.
I want to see who's gonna come babysit us first, and then if they're the kind of person who doesn't give a damn, maybe. Yeah, but I don't want to get tattled on immediately, right?
Oh, that is fair.
Yeah, but maybe little guy.
And at the mention of a tattle, you do notice that there is a camera up in the corner of this canteen, although it's in that weird sort of sloped droop kind of way. But the light is blinking, so it might be pointing at a particular chair and not anything in any of you.
Maku does not notice.
Yeah.
I go over and I reach up and I turn it around.
When you do so, it breaks right off. Just clunk.
Oh, can I
Yeah,
have
you
that?
want that?
Yeah, I would like
I
that.
figured, yep. Okay.
I'm just gonna open the little compartment on my drone and shove it in.
How much stuff is in there right now?
Not that much stuff. I got like pretty much everything I own is in there though. But not that much though.
Not that much.
My armor and some stuff.
Twist tie.
My toolkits.
Okay.
Not that much.
Piece of lint.
It's probably a couple, I'd imagine. Just in a roundabout kind of way.
Wires.
gonna go over to the door and peek my head up and down the hallway.
So poking your head out the hallway, you can see in the distance, probably a 30, maybe 45-second walk away, there is this Lashunta, this yellow-skinned member of the crew, clearly based on their flight suit, who's walking in a sort of like lackadaisical cock-of-the-walk kind of way towards the canteen. They're swinging a thermos of sorts in their hand, just sort of ambling about as if they don't have a care in the world. They'll be upon you pretty soon, you imagine.
Good news, the babysitter is lackadaisical. Or, probably not a problem. It's good news for you.
But I'm not a baby.
Well,
I know that I'm very small.
no,
but
well, proverbially, we are all babies deep within the womb of this ship, right?
Whoa, I never even thought about it like that. That is a very interesting point of view.
Sit down in a small chair and hope it doesn't break.
So thankfully, these are the sort of built into the infrastructure chairs. It does sort of do that weird like buckle when you sit on a closed toilet sort of thing, but not enough to break it, thankfully.
Okay.
At the very least. And as soon as you do set your butt down on that chair, the door swings open and in walks this Lashunta. He sort of takes a glance of all of you, pulls a tablet out of his flight suit and begins to swipe through probably a little bit of data on each of you and gives you all a sort of quizzical look. Who's thirsty? Anybody?
I'm
getting so tired of getting this just terrible recap. Is that place open? And he glances over at the canteen, which looks like it's closed.
Can
He could
be.
probably make it open.
I can do it. And he goes striding across the canteen. He hops up onto the counter and leans his back against that corrugated steel and just sort of smashes his hand at it as if he's knocking on a door. It vibrates pretty horrendously. And after a second, it does in fact open, and you can see behind it there is an automaton of sorts. You would all recognize this to be a sort of chef bot, a canteen robot that only knows a couple of jobs it's allowed to do, and very few beyond that. Where this place might get its name might have to do with the literal cardboard goldfish glued or taped to the face of this robot to sort of give it some sense of personality, so you can tell which way it's facing. As it sees that there are guests of kind that maybe the first it's seen in a little while, one of its hands emerges, and in the center of it, a tray begins to unfold, almost like pieces of a pizza. And another hand, of which this thing has 4, begins to grab a series of cups and place them down on top of this tray, seemingly oblivious to the fact that some of you don't need it. It still begins to pour this gross and disgusting sounding thick black sludge into each of these cups. And the hand extends.
Oh, thank you, sir.
The Lashunta sitting on the counter, whose name tag you can see reads Capyro, sort of grimaces his face a little bit and takes his cup. God, I am so tired of not having sweetener in this recaf. Just takes a drink, and you can tell by at least his expression, not very enjoyable. I'm not going to drink it all. If you want it, please.
Nivel's
Maku's just gonna down his.
Yeah, just pointedly staring at it, like, and not taking it.
No. I'm going to pass for now.
It's not so bad.
My stone face kind of... No reaction.
Yeah, it's not particularly good, but you seem pretty hardy, so it's not too bad.
No sweetener in here?
Well, we've been long overdue
Yeah.
for a resupply mission. That's actually one of the reasons why you might be here. It's come to my attention that, well, some of you, many of you, have spent some time near the bottom of the pool. You gotta earn your keep. And one of the best ways to earn your keep on the Myopostus is to not be on it. Be working. We got a job for you to do. Sort of fishes around through his flight suit and produces essentially a set of keys and just sort of hurls them in your general direction.
We all grab.
Yeah.
Give me a collective dexterity save, or reflex save, please. Anybody who wants to try to grab out. Highest roll wins.
Do I get any bonuses for having 6 hands?
You do not, unfortunately. It would make sense if you weren't so short.
7.
Ooh.
Just straight dex?
Reflex.
Reflex save. I got 17.
I also got 17.
Ooh.
13.
Anybody higher than 17? Nope.
I got
Which one of the two of you has the higher dexterity score?
Can I make a suggestion? I
Mhm.
think we both grab it. Maku's just kind of
Certainly. Fantastic. So both grabbing the key. CV2, you have this awkward moment of, well, either holding hands or holding
well,
keys.
3 arms just kind of
Yeah.
grab you too.
Grabbing on him. I guess you're coming with us anyway. What's this for?
Well, you're getting a shuttle, at least for a little bit. You need to get down to Ceravos, the planet we're about to get to. And unless you want to jump, at least we can do is give you a set of wheels. Excuse the misnomer. Have any of you ever flown a ship before?
I think sorta.
I've crashed a ship before.
Oh, that is
I am a licensed pilot, yes.
I have.
You have. Well, you can
I can in a pinch.
you can fight amongst yourself who gets to drive this thing. It's not going to be enjoyable no matter what. You're not exactly getting the tippy top. I'm pretty sure the ship you have doesn't even come with a top-of-the-line Percival, which you would all know is a sort of generic shipboard AI of sorts. It's like the logical evolution of Ask Jeeves from 1,000 years ago. It sort of has like information about some planets and can answer some questions, but depending on the version, you might be sort of wildly out of loop. We'll be dropping out of the drift pretty shortly, and within an hour or so, we're hoping to be close enough to Ceravos that you can sort of take flight, as it were. At the very least, you'll fall towards the planet, and you'll get there, one way or another. What you're getting today is thankfully the answer to my prayers. Sweetener for this god-awful coffee. Ceravos is an agricultural world of sorts. It's mostly lived in by Formians, which you would all know are an ant-like species that are native to several different planets. How they sort of spread throughout the universe is really unknown, but they're everywhere, and they're very industrious, and just like real ants, have a sort of hive mind mentality. Ceravos is the biggest exporter of Formian honey. It's delicious enough, doesn't go bad, it goes fantastic in recaf, even better in recyc, and you can even eat it raw if you really want to, but it'll kind of bung you up, so be a bit careful. keep that in mind. One thing you need to keep in mind, please, the Formians tend to be a little bit skittish, around large flying things. We'll give you the coordinates, and he sort of pulls out a data pad and presses some beep boops. I just sent it to your ship, the Moat it's called, by the way. Go to those coordinates. Hopefully, one of our contacts, a decent friend of mine, Wyra, will be there to escort you deeper into the Formian territory to get these much-needed honey. Now, there's going to be other ships leaving the Mayapostas as well, going down to Ceravos for their own missions, their own jobs. But you're errand boys today. You gotta earn your keep somehow. And I hope this is okay. If not, the exit's right over there. We should be, I think, and he looks at the sort of watch on his wrist, should be dropping out of the drift pretty soon. I hope, at least. So sort of hang on a little bit. And you can see he braces himself against the edge of the leaky goldfish. Seemingly, almost prophetically, the ship begins to lurch to a halt, and you hear that strange sort of rattling noise, almost like a chain link fence being shook by a bunch of children. The fact that the ship is in one piece is clearly astonishing, especially because it's made up of hundreds of different ships. No sooner does the rattling begin to sort of peter off that you hear a klaxon in the distance, a loud siren, kabang, kabang, kabang. And Caparo, for what it's worth, pulls up his data pad. God damn. It looks like the mirror of Giblin broke off. That's going to be a problem. Not for you, at the very least. We're not on that ship, but I should probably go deal with it. I'll be back in a few minutes if you got any questions. Puts down his data pad, takes one of the extra scoops of recaf, and just, without even fielding questions, strides out of the room, leaving you to your own devices. You can hear the klaxon in the distance. You can hear muffled shouts as if some people are moving to go fix this problem. But it's not your problem to deal with, and hopefully all the bulwarks and airlocks hold. but you find yourself absent once again inside this canteen. Now with keys to a starship, you don't know where it is.
Maku wants to check out his data pad.
Certainly.
Ooh.
I swing Maku around.
I wonder if he has cool pictures of those ants.
Take a look.
Certainly. So when you get a hold of the data pad, it is locked. It does have a password protection, probably even biometrics, but it's something that can be overcome if you want to try.
I would like to try.
Certainly. Please give me a computer use check as you begin to, with all your many hands.
22.
22. That's more than enough. So you watch us just deftly, Maku, with maybe extra hands help, easily enough unlock this computer with a sort of shoop. Looking inside, you can see a pretty detailed map of the planet of Cerebos, where you're going to land, including the coordinates that he just sent to your ship, wherever it may be. You can also see there's a file on each and every one of you in his ship, or in this data pad, as well as the location of your ship, the moat. It's behind that door, the one that you almost opened.
Oh.
It's right there. You're on the edge, the perimeter of some ship, and that door leads into an airlock, leads into a hangar of sorts where your ship is, ripe for the taking, if you want.
There's some pretty cool stuff on here. I think our ship is right there.
That'd be handy.
And there's I want to look up a file on Thurgood.
Pass this down, please.
Oh boy.
So you can
Do
just
I see this happening?
You definitely see Maku probably just furiously swiping
Yeah.
through all sorts of files, trying their
Yeah,
best.
I look down. She's looking up you.
The higher the position is better or worse?
30,000 is the cutoff.
Oh. You're doing pretty good. A lot of us are getting pretty close to being, I want to use the term aborted, but I think that that's wrong.
No, I think it applies in this situation. How about you get out of there though for the time being? Okay? we got what we needed, and yeah.
You're a war hero?
All right, we're. I
That's
take the
really
data
cool.
pad out of
Hey,
Marcus' hand if I can.
That's probably a good
grabbing
idea.
onto you.
yeah, and I turn off the screen if I can. I'm gonna put this down, and then I just sort of like
Does
lean on
anyone
it.
any ideas on how we're collecting this honey? Like, is it?
I
canned,
didn't get
or
that
is
far.
it
Somebody took
jarred
away
or
the data.
wild, or
I was getting there.
I think okay. Who is a responsible computer user around here?
I am a very
Someone who is
responsible.
not little guy who is going to go rifling
I
around.
was very curious because you're very big and you have a really cool watch, and I thought that you
Turn
were
the
pretty.
face in, please.
I thought that you were pretty cool.
Thank you. I'm flattered. I'm flattered. Responsible computing.
I can take a look at you.
All right, yeah, I trust you, pal.
Starts looking at the exact same.
So it's once again locked, so without Maku's help or your own computer use, you're not getting in.
How'd you get in here?
Are you
Show
going
up.
to be mean to me too?
I'm not.
Okay.
All right.
Do I have to make another check?
No, so at this point you know the drill, the sequence, and it unlocks, and you
If
have
you
access
see
to
any
it.
cool pictures of ants, please show me.
Totally.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I'm gonna look up the mission profile.
Certainly. So what the gather is sort of loosely organized what you're going to do. You can see there's several other ships doing other missions, but yours specifically is to go meet with a Formian taskmaster named Wyra. They're a sort of leadership caste within the hive that exists who's hopefully going to liaise with you and take you deeper into the hive. Looking at the map, you can see that there's probably a good couple of miles between your projected landing zone and the border of the hive itself. That's that sort of buffer where you don't want to upset the drones, as it were, who get scared by flying things. You can see that the Formians of this hive are going to prepare this honey for you. It'll be ready to be loaded on the ship around when you get there. You can see that it needs to be reasonably fresh in order for it to taste delicious for the first couple days. And then for the following 4 years, it's just a steady downhill sort of trajectory from there, okay? But you can easily enough find exactly where you need to land. You can see the topographical map. There's a small a compound of sorts, and even a little road that goes all the way into their territory. It'll be easy to follow.
Right on.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just share that with everybody as I'm reading through the profile.
Were there any pictures?
Just a map.
Has anyone been to this planet before?
No.
Anyone liaised with the
It-
Formian?
It sounds like there's lots of things to eat down there. I'm very excited.
Looks like it.
Probably.
Looks like we've got a bit of a walk through the jungle.
Ooh.
Oh.
I've met a few Formians, but I don't speak their language.
Me neither.
I'm gonna go over to a corner of one of the tables upon hearing foliage and start tinkering with something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there any info on that, Pat, about the local flora and fauna?
Certainly. So taking a dig through, it does. You can actually find a fair bit about the Formians themselves. There aren't so much pictures, but I will say they're common enough that you might be able to pull a mental image from your head of what they look like. Even the smallest ones are at least the size of Doc. Certainly bigger than Maku. And they are sort of, I want to say bipedal, but they're quadrupedal because they're ants, but they're bent at the waist like a centaur and walk around on 4 legs. They go increasingly up in size, just like you would imagine an ant hive would. Warriors, leaders, eventually the queen, you'd surmise, at the very tippy top. As far as other flora and fauna that exist on Cerebos, there is, at least according to what you're reading, a selection or a series of feral hives that exist that may or may not be what's actually farmed for this honey. How their hierarchy works, you really don't know. But there's very little in the way of wildlife. It seems as if they've dominated this entire planet, which is not surprising given their industrious hive mind nature.
Oh, they're quite huge. There's like a twinkle in her one eye. Just like stretching.
My tinkering takes 10 minutes.
Sure.
Once I finish that, I'm gonna go over to the door that we had seen, and anybody with some pep in their step want to help me yank this boy open?
I'll come
Yeah.
give a hand.
I'll come
Thanks.
give a hand too.
Thanks, miss.
Certainly. What's your athletics modifier here?
I believe it's +8. Yay. +7.
+7. Go ahead and please give me an athletics check.
22.
22. So, like I said, it's a pretty zip-tie-y kind of lock. So as you grab a hold of it and even ask for help, as others are coming to approach, you sort of almost lackadaisically give it a tug, and the latch breaks off, and the door begins to slide up, doing that weird thing where it like only half slides up, like a pair of blinders that's not working. It's a real pain, but you can see inside. There's a small spaceship. And I stress the word small, specifically for Thurgood, because it's going to be a pretty tight fit. I'm actually going to go get the spaceship. It's right here. I have it with me because I'm prepared. So I can throw that up on the other side of that one door.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Why not?
As Nival walks through, she wants to kick the other half of the door up the Jimmy side.
Yeah, certainly. That's easy to do. Just sort of bending in inhuman ways. Easily enough, the door goes open. The ship you can see is, well, a little worse for wear. It's probably been in this hangar for as long as everything else has, which is to say a very long time. You're immediately hit with a sense of sort of stale air from behind that door, which is coming from inside the ship. You, especially with your sort of keen nose, almost the two of you, can tell that that's just the grossness that's lingering in the ship, seeping through the airlocks, which are clearly not airtight. Otherwise, the ship is pretty modest. It does have a little port for a laser cannon on the front. You can see there's a missile tube that probably is armed, but it's certainly not a fighter by any stretch of the imagination. And written on the nose of it is the words, "The Mote," as if a mote of light. It does indeed have a sort of orangey red color to it that is sort of disappearing and chipping in several different places. And it might not be the same color by the time it makes it down to the ground, because it probably hasn't been exposed to sun in 100 years. So we'll see how it goes. You have a key, and you're free to take a look.
Might as well look at what we're dealing with.
Yeah, you're the pilot.
Oh.
If you're trained.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Like I said, I crashed one that looked quite a lot like this.
Was
So-
it exciting or scary?
It was definitely scary.
Mechanically speaking,
Yep.
is this outside in like a non-airlock location? The ship
No,
itself?
so
Okay.
imagine it was like backed up to the door almost. At the front of it, at the nose, there is an airlock that goes to the void of
Yeah.
space. The
Okay.
ship itself is in
Still-
a pressurized
Okay.
sort of area. And knowing what you kind of know, the reason why these canteens are predominantly staffed by actual robots is in order to get this ship out, you need to vent the entire canteen. This is a very old ship. They didn't exactly have efficiency on lock at the time.
Well, stand by if this door falls off as I go for it. I wander over and try the key.
Certainly. So it's sort of like a fob. You get close, you find a little data pad, and
Oh, yeah.
it does indeed open, and immediately the door, the ramp at the rear, like abruptly and nearly violently just falls, ka-gunk, and hits the ground. All the pistons and hydraulics aren't working the way they should. And that smell you've been smelling absolutely hits you. It's not just stale air. Something died in here a very long time ago and doesn't even stink anymore. It's been here for so long. But you can smell it.
Who wants to find a dead body?
Nival
Okay.
will stroll in completely unaware that it stinks. They just like
Okay. Anybody good with their tinkering? This thing's a hunk of junk. We gotta
I can tinker.
be my guest friend.
Okay. I'm gonna look for some stuff that needs to be repaired.
Certainly. Please give me an engineering check, Nival, as you stride in, trying to just scan with your eyeball to try to find whatever this is. Taking a moment or two to sort of look behind all the creepy crawly spaces and things, you find under what is the pilot seat is a small, I want to say marsupial of some kind. Maybe. At least it's that shape, or at least the skeleton is. There's tiny little bits of meat still on it that are so dry and desiccated that it's a jerked possum almost essentially, and that's very likely the culprit. You can also see that it died trying to chew through some cables underneath the seat. So maybe the power lifting doesn't work on the seat, maybe the air ride suspension, I don't know. Either way, it died doing what it loved, chewing cables.
poke at it, pick it up and start walking out with it.
So the rest of you see this just like almost dustified, mummified creature being pulled out by Nival.
Just lay it out on the cantina like rails, completely unaware.
On the actual canteen with the robot in it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like
As
there
soon
you
as
go.
you lay it down, the robot sort of whirs to life. You sort of crossed its motion sensors, as it were, and it begins to scoop it up and place it into a garbage can, thankfully disposing of it. Not quite the smell, but at least the corpse, at the very least.
I'm gonna creak into the pilot seat and see what we're working with.
Certainly. So as soon as you sit in it, the worries you normally have about sitting in chairs definitely come to play, as whatever that cable was might have been important in the comfort of the seat, because it sits, crunches to the side, and nearly falls over. And Thurgood, you find yourself sort of wedged in the front of the ship for a moment as Maku scurries along the center console trying to find things to fix.
I got the 28.
So with that 28, you can definitely find that this is going to take some time to fix, but thankfully most ships come with spare components to get things in working order. You can find the gaskets and the O-rings are here. Enough of the cabling can be done to at least make the seat straight, but maybe not comfortable. And by spending probably an hour or two, you'll be able to get this ship space-worthy. Probably.
After I'm done doing that, I'm gonna. Is there anything that's being done in the meantime? No.
I can see what kind of magic is flowing through the circuits here, but I'm not very hopeful.
So after that, I'm gonna go up to Mr. Scriber. Say, Mr. Dr. Scriber, can I have the little thing back to give back to the nice man who gave us this mission?
I'll look over at Thurgood.
Thurgood is too distracted to even catch your gaze. He's kind of like looking at the.
Okay. And Maka's gonna go put it where he found it
Mhm.
before, and on his way back, he's gonna kind of sniff out that garbage can and pick the bone that has the jerky off.
Certainly, yeah. As soon as you sort of put the tablet on the counter, the robot grabs a hold of it and chucks it into the garbage can that you're going
Oh no, Mr. Robot, that is not where that goes. He's gonna put it in the exact same spot.
to. So you put it in the exact same spot, go to fish in for this bone, the tablet over your shoulder,
Mr.
back into the
Robot!
garbage can.
Try
Is
one
there
of
like
the
a-
tables, maybe?
Well, put it on one of the tables.
Certainly, you can. See,
I pick it up, take it over, and put it in the garbage.
and then the endless loop begins.
Okay,
Clearly, that's where it belongs.
I don't think that's where it's belongs. I'm just going to take it, and then I'm going to leave a note. I'm going to find whatever I can in there to leave like some sort of message on the wall that says, "Sorry, have your tablet."
You can
Maku.
use some of the jerky, I suppose, to like make a grease stain. I don't know. It's up to you.
Red rum.
Yeah, it just says, "Sorry, I have your tablet, Maku."
and hopefully, maybe if you're gone before then, he'll have the message at the very least. So that's good. So tablet in tow, piece of jerky in tow. What's everybody up to still?
I just watched all of that. Just shaking my head.
I'll go check out the inside, just making sure that the space is as tidy and that we're all gonna fit in it as possible.
Certainly, yeah. Maku, if you could go ahead and roll me a D4, please.
Me?
Yes, please.
2.
So it's going to take you, you imagine, about 2 hours to get all this fixed and done. So during that 2 hours, you can go ahead and tidy up the inside of the ship a little bit. It involves a great deal of sweeping with a broom you find nearby in the canteen. It's a process, to say the least, and you would need a couple of days to really get the funk out. But at the very least, where you sit will be somewhat clean. Anybody else have anything they want to do in these couple of hours while Maku is fixing the ship as best they can?
I'm gonna see if I can give Maku a hand.
Certainly. Are you trained in engineering? Do you have ranks in the engineering
Yes.
skill? Then certainly go ahead and roll me a d20 and add your engineering skill to it.
While he's doing that, can I trouble you for the name of the person again that gave us the mission?
Oh yeah, Capyro.
Kapai.
I'll be putting on armor.
Certainly.
15.
15. So you can easily enough help actually dropping it down by nearly an hour between the two of you. It's sort of more hands make light work, and with Maku having 6 already, an extra pair helps.
Thank you, friend.
No problem.
Seeing Nival grab their armor, you do realize that many of you are not actually prepared to go down and potentially get yourselves into trouble on this very benign honey harvesting mission, but you do need to get your equipment ready. So sort of filtering out one by one and returning, what's changed in your characters as you've gathered your gear? Thank you, volunteers, again.
I'll go first, considering I said that I'll go get my armor first. So as Nival walks back in, the cloak. Oh yes. Maybe, oh well.
Pop that
You're not going to be able
somewhere.
to see it, but
We'll
The-
get good pictures later.
yeah, the black cloak is now kind of more thrown back in a cape-like fashion. You couldn't really see what her body looked like underneath before, but if you could, on her shoulders and her hips, there's more like a thicker pauldrons and side armor than there would have been previously. That's really the only distinguishing feature from previous, other than a huge, ridiculously big sword that she is now carrying, which you can actually see in her art, so it'll help with the visualization, but I lovingly describe it as a katana machete. The same sort of slope that you would see with a katana, but it just thickens out ridiculously to almost an unwieldy proportion for a normal fleshy person. And yeah, like I said, it's a little bit more of a, I guess, pep in her movement now. You'd notice a distinct difference, almost a personality change, with her having like an old familiar friend in her hand.
Once you got the katana machete, you're good to go. Okay, who else went and grabbed their gear?
I did. You wouldn't have noticed much change in my appearance because I typically am quite like my armor's second skin, so you can't really see it. And then also my gear I often wear around anyways, just because I am rather vigilant. I do have a large backpack on now as well, and you can see that I'm arm. So you can see that there's like a gun at my hip, and I'm ready to go.
Fantastic. Well,
Thurgood is no longer business casual, but man, oh man, is he still branded. So the corporate symbol that you would have seen embroidered on his shirt and on his watch face is now also present on this sort of, not quite skin tight, sort of, like a light astronaut-y looking, mostly white Gore-Tex-y suit of light armor with orange and then blue detailing. He's got a massive sort of techie looking backpack on his back with a couple of, apertures and various things. One of them looks really fancy, like ridiculously expensive for this ship. He's carrying a massive, heavy laser cannon, and he's got a couple of grenades strapped at his belt, and a thing that he had been tinkering on for earlier, now next to the other grenades, probably also a grenade, and he's got that at his side. That's about it.
Loaded for bear, but I'll see myself out.
Oh no.
Challenge went down by half.
Who's next?
Oh, I'll go next. So CB2, you see fiddle with some kind of something at its belt, and kind of over the next hour, you can see CB2's whole outfit kind of stay the same, but kind of change. So where you did have like the full robe all the way around, you can see that it is kind of opened towards the front, and there's big plates on the legs, and there's like 3 tufts of cape something at the back. And you can see that the material looks like Kevlar-y something. And same thing in the chest. It's not that you have actually noticed anything in the chest change, but everything's kind of puffed up front and back, and you can tell that there's some kind of heavy armor going on under there. Went back to my cabin, I guess, for a second and grabbed a little rifle or a little pistol that you see in one hand, but the other change that you would notice is the solar moat, which was rotating around the head, is now kind of shifted down and has been rotating around the arm and is now rotating around the hand.
I like it.
It
It just sounds cool. As fuck.
It sounds cool. It sounds sci-fi, man.
Yeah, that leaves us with the duck.
That's me. Again, same. Not a whole lot has changed, other than a bit more of a jumpsuit, and he's come back with this kind of, injector gun, dart gun, kind of thing, in hand, and just doesn't look like he's ready for a day out in the field.
Nice.
So as you went and go ahead. I forgot about Maku. Geez, you already have your combat medal.
Yeah, I know.
That's my fault.
That's okay. So Maku is going to be the last one to get his stuff on because he feels really like about putting on armor. So you can see he doesn't even go anywhere. He just lifts up the little hatch on his drone and pulls out some boots and a jacket and a nice pair of pants. And as he's putting them on, you can see him like cringing, like it's pushing his fur the wrong way. Just, But the pants and the boots are fairly plain, but the jacket, when he brings it out, is this really vibrant purple with what look like gang symbols on they're like patches on this like purple leather jacket. There's like a big S on the back, and then it says Skitters at the top, and then on the front it has like a Maku embroidered on. Actually, I probably would say his full name, Maku Makuden, embroidered on the collar of it.
I absolutely love it.
That's amazing.
So as Maku was the last one to go grab your equipment, it's because you spent time fixing the ship. In those sort of hour and change that's happened, Capyro has not returned. That klaxon is still ringing in the middle distance. Whatever ship broke off might have been reasonably big and might have been sort of stuck inside the overall ship, so who knows what engineering problems he's dealing with. But you've sorted out yours, and with the keys in tow, you could leave if you wanted to, or maybe wait for him to come back. It's entirely up to you. But you have all your equipment, you have access to a ship, and space is literally on the other side of that wall. You can see in the distance, through the sort of the tempered glass or plastiglass, you can see the planet of Ceravos in the distance. It is a certainly terrestrial and probably very humid and green planet. It's visible against the blackness of space like a little emerald, clear as day. It looks as if the jungle or forest that covers the surface of this planet goes pole to pole, equator to equator. There does not appear to be any real semblance of bodies of water. It is probably an ocean of trees as far as you can see in every direction. And you know, based on what you've read, there's very little in the way of life aside from these Formians and the feral ones that are rumored to be there. What do you guys want to do?
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Aside from like animal life, does it look like it's a diverse biome, like for trees and
From here,
plants?
it's just green.
Okay.
Just green.
So it does look like there's a lot of
Yeah.
plant life down
Yes.
there. Okay. Cool.
I say we go. We've been on this ship for quite a while.
I can leave him another note.
Do we need to?
I could just say took keys to or something. So
Well, he
just
gave
so
us
he
the
knows-
keys.
He gave
Oh,
us
did
the
he give
keys,
us
yeah.
the keys?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. He threw them, and then I grabbed them, and you grabbed them, and we wouldn't let them go.
I mean, we've got the data pad.
I don't have them now.
It looks like our full mission's there.
My legs are going numb.
Yeah.
Let's blow this joint before it blows up, and hopefully it'll still be here when we're all wrapped up down there, eh?
Kick it.
Let's get
Alrighty,
going.
Let's go.
I kick
Okay.
it.
So everybody getting into the moat proper, which I'm not going to put all the minis in, although I want to because it's really funny. Thurgood doesn't actually fit, which is the best thing in the world. You all sort of jam into the back of this ship as best you can. This ship does, despite what its actual size belies, has room for about 10 people to fit comfortably, Thurgood counting as 2. More often than not, and Maku and Doc counting as about a half, physically speaking, inside this space, okay? As soon as the door closes, it makes one of those weird sort of like balloons being pulled taut noises as the new O-rings and new O-rings and airlocks have been fitted. You hear the sound of just of it sealing and holding. At the very least, it's now recirculating your air, which still has a little bit of that lingering stink, which again will probably stay forever and maybe seep into your clothes and stuff. We'll see. But you're now locked inside the ship, and with a press of a button, the airlock at the front opens. Immediately, the probably pounds of dust that was sitting inside the canteen for the last 100 years just whooshes out past you, almost like a shotgun blast of debris. And the ship begins to, not by your choice, slowly slide towards the edge of space as it's being pulled out by the decompression, as Maglock's not exactly working. So who's our pilot right now? Are you at the pilot seat? You're sort of affixed pretty thoroughly?
Yeah. I'm not gotten out of here if I wanted to.
Certainly. So, plotting a course, Thurgood, could you please roll me 2d6?
2d6. 3.
3. It's going to take you 3 hours to get down to the surface to where you're going. And as soon as you plot in that course and realize that the landing zone is a little bit askew from where you are above the planet right now, it dawns on you that 3 hours is a very long time inside a ship of this size, especially with your legs being as numb as they already are. But plotting in the course, the ship actually begins to sort of lurch off the ground and drift intentionally out into space. And it's here where many of you get a second glimpse at the Myoposis. As you begin to drift farther and farther away, you can see that this ship is miles long and probably a good mile or kilometer tall. It is made up of dozens and dozens and dozens of ships, some of which are themselves made up of other ships. This is like the strangest Connex structure ever made. It just happens to be able to go at faster than the speed of light and somewhat hold itself together. You can see why I say somewhat, though. The mirror of Griben in the distance is the ship that broke off, and you can see it was indeed nested inside the ship proper and is sort of ping-ponging around inside, bashing into all sorts of other ships. That's going to be a long, drawn-out process to fix, and there's a reason why Capyro hasn't returned. He's certainly busy. Your note will hopefully not upset him too much as you're still having your tablet in hand as the ship begins to drift. With the press of a button, you try to close the airlock behind you, and you watch as it about half closes and then doesn't. But it's at a point you can't fix it. And just looking sort of through the spaceships have rearview mirrors. This one does. You can see that the airlock is not quite closed. But you settle in for your trip. It's going to be a long one. Leave it to you guys.
So my friends showed me this cool place where I could like talk about my adventures with everybody. I'm just gonna show everybody. I'm gonna start doing it. I text to my friends all the time, just tell them how I'm doing, and they think that everybody would like it.
No, thank you.
Where are your friends?
Oh, on my home planet,
Which is?
Alder Chunk.
Alder Chunk.
Can't say I've been there.
Alder Chunk.
Has anyone heard of Alder Chunk?
You can go ahead and give me a... Oh, geez. What's the skill in this edition, in this game?
History?
I'm going to call it a history check.
Is there history?
Culture?
Culture.
Oh,
Probably
yeah,
culture.
culture.
Okay, I can do that.
My fancy...
Culture. Oh, okay, that's not
my
so bad.
my fancy piece of cardboard. There we go. Yes, culture.
19.
19?
19.
So you know that Oeder Chunk, or Otter Chunk, is actually Vesk 3.
Hmm.
It's in the Veskarium. But it's been used by its sort of appropriate cultural name by a Skittermander here. A little bit about the Veskarium that you would all know. The militant lizard folk known as Vesk have conquered their entire sort of solar system. And one of the things that they do is bring whoever they conquer into the fold, sort of honor bound to keep them alive and keep them healthy. If they didn't stand obstinate against the Vesk, they weren't destroyed. It's rumored within the Veskarium that the Skittermanders are the one race they probably should have eaten, because Skittermanders are notoriously helpful, as I'm sure you're kind of seeing, and it drives some Vesk nuts, because they're much more independent and don't want 6 hands in their pockets when they're trying to find their keys. But that's where Maku's from.
Yes.
How did you end up here?
Oh, I really like to travel, and I just kind of happened to come here. It's just, I don't really know how to explain it. I didn't mean to come here, but it was kind of just like, I just got here from the universe.
It's nice.
I spent a long time with lots of people,
Where are they now?
out doing whatever they do, so I get bored very easily, and I like to see new things.
Are you going to stay with us for the mission?
Well, yeah, I have not been to this planet. I'm very
Okay,
excited.
good.
He's gonna go back into showing everybody pictures of his friends from his home planet and just going on random stories.
I do have a question about this website. Is it like Squarespace or MySpace? What sort of quality are we looking at here?
My square.
My square. Yeah, I'd say something in the idea of Reddit, where it's just people posting
Sure.
stories or blogs or just
Okay.
kind of like a space social media kind of.
Sure.
Are your friends all stripes and colors, or are they mostly Skittermanders? Or
Oh, they are Skittermanders. I tried to make friends with lots of Vesks, but they didn't like me very much.
They're not the easiest to get to know.
sorry to hear that.
And I'll ask Invesk, do you speak any Vesk?
Oh yes,
Oh.
I'll answer in common though.
Okay.
So,
That makes 3 of us. I will say invest.
for those of you who don't speak Vest, just hear this guttural sort of clicking. Almost, you've heard a bullfrog scream. That's one of the main consonants in Vesk. It's pretty horrendous to non-native speakers, but it makes sense to you guys.
Have you been to my planet?
I have not been to your planet, but I have met several Vesk.
They're kind of mean,
the-
but they're also nice.
Most of the ones I met were very lovely people.
Oh, that is good. I'm glad that you found lovely ones. They weren't lovely to me.
Yeah, that's kind of their thing.
That's okay. I'm sure they were good people. They just were busy.
They were sightseeing mostly. People on vacation tend to be pretty happy.
Oh, that's very true. I was always around them while they were working, and they always told me I was in the way, but I'm very sure that I was helping them.
I'm sure you were.
Yes.
Hey, Maku, you know how you could help me
Yes?
in your blog or this website or whatever it is?
Yeah?
Don't mention what you did mention earlier.
That you have a cool watch.
You can mention that.
Okay.
That's fine. The other thing, right?
That you're very cool.
Okay. Starts with a W, ends with the hero. None of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll invest the war hero thing.
But it's so cool. I think all of my friends would just love to hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've never met a war hero before.
Okay. Okay.
I think that's probably his story to share,
Okay.
if he wants.
Excuse me, are you going to be posting information about us?
I post about my adventures. I haven't done any yet. They just sent it to me like last week, and I haven't really been on any adventures, and this is my first one, so I was just going to write about it.
Feel free to not have me in there too.
Oh. But
Or
you're part
you
of...
can just call me the robot.
Okay, I can call you the robot if that's what you prefer.
In this case, yes.
Okay.
You can write about me.
Okay.
And no pictures.
I'll take her pictures.
Yeah, let's talk about somebody else. What's Doc? What's your deal? You're looking awfully fancy for the myelinosis.
Yeah, well, I've not been here too long. But I came in from a weighed-in freighter. Used to call back on my my station back home. I don't know. Have any of you heard of Cirrus Deep? Cirrus. Well, sorry. I guess that's what we call it. The Synthetico Research Industrial Station 33. No.
It sounds
Okay.
very cool.
Yeah, it orbits Delta 33 Prime, but it's a research town. Yeah, so.
Do you do
Researching
lots
what?
of research?
Well, my parents were the researchers, and I just grew up there.
Oh, so you don't do research.
I do research. I do research,
But not there.
not there. No, I just went to school there.
What do you research now?
Mostly pharmacology.
What?
Pharmacology.
Oh, pharmacology.
Yeah,
Oh, that is very cool.
Yeah. I thought so. Yeah, it's top of my class.
Were you the only one in your class?
I was the only one in my class on the station.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Synthetical U.
Remote learning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Too real.
it's real.
It is too real.
Real life, guys.
That is cool though. So you could like go to class and go on adventures at the same time.
I mean, not really. We couldn't really freely travel off the station. We were kind of my parents were paid by Synthetico in Synthetico money, and to leave the station we had to pay them.
Oh,
In their
that
own money.
sounds very terrible.
Yes, it was.
Oh, I'm glad that you're not there anymore.
Me too.
Oh, good.
Me too. Yeah, the Waden freighter was kind enough to take me on. They were in desperate need of a doctor. So
I will ask Inyasoki. So you are a medical doctor then?
Show off.
yeah, like to a degree, mostly pharmaceuticals and
okay.
and that end. But I mean, I can slice and dice if I need to.
What happened to the Waden freighter?
Oh, it just came into my post and I got off.
That makes sense. And you would know that
Yeah.
ships definitely do come and go. Like, this is a quasi-space station as well as a spaceship. So you probably all arrived here in one way or another, and the ships you came on are probably gone. Or are bolted to the ship now. It's hard to tell.
I was with them for a couple of years and then just,
Oh, okay.
time to move on at a certain point.
Makes sense.
Life catches up with you.
Mhm.
So I have an airlock right up there. It's like half shut. Or
No, you don't. I'm talking
I
about the
don't.
airlock
Oh,
on the
okay,
Myaposis is the one that didn't close all the
okay.
way. So when
Good to know.
poor Capyro opens the canteen, he might get sucked out into space,
yeah.
sort of thing.
Okay.
You guys are safe in your spaceship.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, there's no room for privacy on this ship. Is
Yeah.
that you're getting at? There's no.
It's one room.
We're almost on each other's laps.
Yeah, I would say the interior of the spaceship is like the size of this table. So
Okay.
not a lot of room considering how big Thurgood is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, we've heard about how other people got on the ship. How about you two?
Nice scar back there.
No.
Then he turns around. You can see the scar that I described a
Yes.
while ago.
Yeah. Thanks. Nearly cost me my life, but
Same.
yeah, you look like you've seen better days too.
a little too deep, I think.
Yeah, I've been on the Myoposis for a while, doing some searching. None of you are likely to have been to my planet, Demalco. There's not much to keep a lot of people there, to be honest. Most of us have lived underground for some time now, and we have started to colonize the surface again. But, I'm looking for what gave me this scar.
You don't know what gave you that scar?
Not the particulars of who.
Looks like an old injury.
Not that old, only about a year.
Old for me.
I could probably clean that up for you if you wanted.
I'm not ashamed of it. It's okay.
Does it hurt?
No, not any longer.
Oh, that is good.
The one on my back, that one's not so comfortable. Maybe we can take a look at that one another time.
Have some downtime.
Yeah.
As if to accentuate perhaps the pain in the back that you have, you hear a pretty distinct hissing noise as something somewheres in the ship breaks. Something popped loose.
We're gonna check that out.
There's no sirens. There's no blinking lights anywhere, but you can hear it at the very least.
Oh, I can go look.
Thank you.
Certainly. As you're scurrying around, please give me another engineering check, please.
Oh no.
Ooh, 27.
27. You easily enough find that part of the air recirculating system broke again. It seems as if perhaps several years, if not decades, of that strange funk inside all the tubing has deteriorated something beyond repair. You have enough air to make it to the surface at the very least, as long as you don't get lost.
Maku's gonna just poke his head down. I'm assuming he's like he's got like himself like grappled to the ceiling, like poking around. He's just gonna poke his head down and be like, "We're gonna be fine."
I don't breathe anyway, so I'm not concerned.
Is there anything that I can fix, or is it just like, we'll make it?
Not right now. You've already used enough of the spare components to fix it the first time. You're out of luck here.
Yeah, I'll just like hop down. Go. We'll be fine.
Air can be such a liability.
We'll make it. I'm pretty sure.
All right. So then, how about you, CV2? Why are you here?
I'm a little worried right now that the reason that one broke off is because I crashed into the side of the ship about a week ago.
This is the ship that you crashed?
No, it was about the same model, maybe a few years younger, but we crashed.
So you're hiding.
We're not hiding. We crashed well enough that I was able to get into the Myoposis and into the loser pool right away. This is my first mission here.
My first mission too.
You did the big crash that everybody's upset about?
It was a small crash. It was only the size of this ship, but it might have knocked a few things loose.
They're not going to be happy.
I was the only survivor of that crash.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Not breathing air kind of helped me out on that one. I crashed half of a ship into the ship.
Maku's gonna like attempt to pat your back with all three of his right arms, but he can't reach, so like one hits your butt and the back of your leg. They're there, buddy.
It was not my brightest moment, no.
You're one of those fellas who became a holy man because other things weren't working out for you?
Not exactly. I was first constructed to be a servant, a tour guide, basically, at one of the churches to Serenre. After a couple of years there, I decided to join the clergy. They were good folk. And then this happened. I just hold up my hand and see the thing spinning around. And I had to get out of there. I got a little bit of training on my way, but now I'm just trying to figure out where I fit in this universe. And I still don't know. It's tough when you're only 2 years old.
So there is a baby.
Baby on board. Yeah, we got one of those little things that can hang
Wow.
it up on the...
You know that androids are born mature.
It's a pretty mature fella.
It's already got a mobile.
So like you don't have a period of time where you're considered like I don't know how you would describe a baby, but probably like not smart and not very capable of walking on your own.
Not really.
I mean, he crashed his ship.
I don't know how to fly.
So maybe like when you get out of your baby stage, you'll know how to fly better.
Maybe. I could learn how to fly. It just takes time. Time that I haven't had yet.
You said this happened.
This happened.
Yeah, what is this?
It's very pretty.
This
It is.
the,
It's beautiful.
The sign that I am a Solarian.
You would all kind of know what Solarians are. They're sort of warrior monk-esque kind of thing that exists all throughout the universe. That tends to be like connected to the cosmos in some way on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
You all would have encountered one or two over your lives, I'm sure, but this is probably the first android one you've ever seen, at least in person.
Yeah. Android Solarians are not exactly common, but not unheard of.
That is very cool. So it's like your little thing, like a whole universe or just a sun?
It's just a sun, and
Does
if you
it-
look very closely,
Little planets?
it has little planets.
Oh! Can I poke one?
Nothing will happen, but you can try.
Your finger just go
poke
right,
right
through
through
it.
it.
Yeah. But the rest of you can see this entire constellation is like reflecting in Maku's eyes as they're staring directly into it. It's probably pretty adorable. Wide-eyed into this constellation.
So that just appeared one day then.
It appeared the day I joined the Church of Serenre.
Well,
Interesting.
It was a surprise to everyone, including myself.
were like other people jealous? Because I'm a little jealous that you have a whole sun that revolves
They
around your head.
they were excited. I was in the news for about 2 days. Yeah,
That is very cool.
but it's Android Solarians aren't that rare.
So are like you famous?
I was famous for a day.
That is very cool.
I was on page 3 of the tablet news thing. I was on page 3.
That's very close to the start.
Yeah, the article was that long. Yeah,
Like, was the font really small,
it was.
or was it really big?
It was pretty small.
Oh, so that's like a fairly big size.
There
then.
were 6 sentences in the article.
That is more sentences that I have had written about me.
You could write more sentences about all of it
Yes.
for your blog.
You can,
Can
write
I
it.
write it
You
in my
can
blog?
write it in your blog.
Okay, I'm going to just make a note here.
Maybe leave out the ship crashing part.
That
Oh yes, I should probably do that so you don't get in trouble.
that was mostly not my fault.
I believe you.
Oh, thank you.
Although I don't think that you should drive while you're still a baby.
Okay, that's why I gave him the keys.
That's a good idea.
Thank you.
So, Nivel, you've asked a lot of questions.
Mm.
Not a lot of answers coming from you.
I'm not
What's
hiding.
your story?
I'm not hiding.
Definitely not. You definitely didn't ask to be referred to just as the robot and have no pictures of you anywhere.
My position within the Torney Corporation became obsolete due to a corporate restructure. Why I'm here. I'm currently unemployed.
Were you a bodyguard of some kind?
No. I was a member of the Toko, the Torney Corporation.
Do I know anything about that?
Yeah, certainly. Go ahead and give me a culture check, please.
Is there anything in her file other than
Other than what you have, yeah.
18?
that's the only
18. So Toko is an old name. It's something that was banned a long time ago, broadly speaking. It's sort of like the gladiator games, essentially, that devolved into badness a long time ago and was shut down. There has been rumors, however, that it's starting back up again in the sort of quiet, dark places of the universe.
Mm.
But that's only rumors.
You look like you know how to use that thing.
Ah, yes. This is my companion. Yes, Frostbiter. Yeah, I'm excited. It's been a while to get back into a fight or two. I hope we find something down the planet that needs to be taken care of.
You and me both.
The larger Formians are quite formidable looking.
Not as formidable as me.
Mm.
She just kind of like again stretches. You want to see it? Like swings it down right in front
Hey.
of her.
There's not a lot of room in this spaceship, and yet it is.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna say you managed to get exactly where you needed to go.
Yeah, I'll
just-
swing it down, like flip it around and grab the blade so you can see the handle.
I'll take it.
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's like
I'm pretty strong.
It is not human usable in most
Okay.
instances. Just the way that like it's balanced and things.
Okay.
It only works for someone of an
very
SRO's.
tip heavy. So one
Yeah.
of those, as a human, it'd be hard to bring up. But
Yeah.
if you can, like this downswing is like vicious.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I go to try like a little move and I'm like, whoa, no. No,
Yeah, you
that's not right.
immediately like fall over a little
Ugh.
bit and hit the side of the
Yeah.
spaceship. Yeah, it's not easy.
I'll spend the next like 30 minutes giving you like a sword lesson. Take it back. Over the shoulder.
It's sometime during this whole journey when you realize you're starting to get closer to the atmosphere. You can start to feel that strange sort of vibration in the ship as the real gravity well of Zerevos begins to take over and sort of inexorably pull you towards the planet. Thurgood, around this time, however, a very familiar noise to you occurs. It's a faint little chime. Bing, 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 bing.
All right. Everybody, do me a favor and just plug your ears. Okay.
I don't
Just,
have
nope, don't. Just plug your ears real quick, okay?
Just put my fingers on the sides of my
Thank you,
head.
thank you, Maku. That helps me a lot. Doc, I don't see you. I don't see. You can see like my eyes and like the rear view mirror. I don't see your plugging back there.
Have you seen the size of these things?
Yeah, just try to bunch them up.
Here, I can help you. You
Yeah,
reach down
Maku,
and
yes,
help.
Maku, help me. Make sure Doc doesn't hear anything,
Marcus,
okay?
I'm gonna just help.
All right. Thank you.
I'll use 4 of my hands. to get
Sort
it
of
bigger.
You're like sitting on the back of his head or on his
Yeah, just
Very quickly, I'm gonna try to like. So I would assume I would have my my shirt with me
Yep.
from like my casual clothes. I'm gonna try to like stuff it up, and so it makes like a little privacy screen.
Sure.
If I can. It's a big shirt.
It's a big shirt, yeah. The rest of you can still see like his shoulders and back and stuff.
I definitely am only covering the ear that he would be able to see.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that little jingle, Doc, were you listening to the jingle?
You definitely would have heard it.
Yeah. Okay. You probably recognize the jingle.
oh.
Yeah. There's a little jingle, and then there's sort of a little like whirring and the sound of something mechanical unfolding as the drone at my side sort of gets in front of my face, starts whirring, and little armatures come out of it and do like almost like a little quick makeup check. There's something that like combs my eyebrows, as it were, that like sort of shines some light on me, like maybe puffs me with a little bit of, I don't know, foundation or whatever, so I don't look like
What a
completely
repair would
waxy.
use.
Yeah,
Bear
exactly. And then it sort of sits squarely right in front of my face, and then I sort of go rooting around in my big tech backpack thing and open up the most expensive looking compartment on it and pull out, there's this beautiful light that sort of spills out of it, and I pull out a tiny little can of bug spray, sort of acid green on it and an orange cap on it as well, and I sort of, and then there's also like a little piece of paper, a script or something that comes through with it as well, and I kind of open it up, look directly into the camera. Folks, once again, it's Thurgood Vale, your favorite spokesbear and voice of the vast, speaking on behalf, of course, of Synthetico's product division. I pulled up the little spray can. What I have here today is this little number called the Instant Bug Killer 2000, the IBK 2K if you're savvy. If you have pest problems, any problems at all, spray it up and down once or twice with this little guy, and I promise they'll be out of your hair as soon as you can say, oh, this smells kind of bad. But of course, stay ahead of the swarm, stay safe, stay protected, and always buy Synthetico. Thank you, and goodbye. And then the drone like slowly folds back into it, and as the drone folds back into itself, so does Thurgood, and it kind of takes the privacy screen down and goes back to driving.
Maku's still just sitting here with all of his hands on Doc's head and mine.
Thank you, Maku. You're good.
So how much of that could I hear?
So Maku has tiny hands and you do have giant ears, and it's a very small space. And Thurgood's voice carries, so probably a good portion of it.
Okay.
Yeah. I imagine like Thurgood turns around and just everybody's blankly staring at him
Yeah,
because
like,
you can't
what?
hide in a ship.
Yeah.
Turns around.
Oh, you're that Thurgood.
It's like it's like you pissed off your dad in like during a road trip, and you're just watching his shoulders tense as he's like white knuckling the highway.
It's good to know we have one of the corporate shrills with us.
Maku's gonna put all his arms down and be like, I feel like I missed something. I thought we
Yes,
were
is this
supposed to
bad?
close our ears.
Can that just happen at any time?
What happened?
Oh,
Oh, I missed something cool, didn't I?
So-
How much of us can they see?
well, he had that shirt on.
Yeah, I tried to do a bit of a favor. Sorry about that.
Do they know who you travel with? Do they know who's with you?
Do we have stalkers? This is kind of interesting. Why is nobody answering my questions?
I don't.
Should I
Are
have
we
not?
there yet?
I like to tip the nose down, so I start skimming down.
Are you there yet? And sure enough, yeah, the ship does begin to nosedive towards the atmosphere.
Oh
I
man.
feel left out.
Do you get to keep the products?
Oh yeah, who wants shitty bug spray?
Oh, I don't think we should use it on the planet. It might hurt the ants.
It may
From
be
a-
very helpful, actually.
It may be in some places.
Hands to Doc.
Why would it be helpful to
Instant
hurt
Bug
them?
Killer 2000 if you want to
There
write
are
it down.
feral colonies. We don't know
Free
that they're all going
samples.
to be
Yeah.
friendly.
We don't know that they're going to be bad.
No, but if someone starts attacking us, it may be helpful to have a way to defend ourselves.
That is fair, but I think that we will be fine.
Well, as the ship is now more rapidly nosediving towards the planet of Cerebos, I'm going to cut down to the planet's surface. This planet has a deep, fertile, and lush jungle that, aside from the paths that have been carved up by the Formians, would be near inhospitable and not traversable by any conventional means, aside from these canyons and roads that have been carved out. There's a small hole in the ground, clearly the entrance to a sort of enormous hive of sorts on the edge of their territory. And emerging out of it, sort of crawling on the ceiling and the floor at the same time, there's a quartet of these small Formian creatures that are in the process of dragging these large metal canisters from deep within the earth. They're sort of sloshing around, presumably the sort of honey that you're coming for. In the distance down the road, quite a ways, there is a small little compound with a landing pad that is essentially flattened down grass, the place for your ship to land. And there is a little flare that is lit by the Formian taskmaster, Wyra, who's here waiting for you, standing easily the same size as Thurgood, if not a little bit larger, watching this ship, your ship, descending a bit rapidly down towards the ground. Thurgood, could you please give me a pilot check? You did specify you were diving, buddy, so let's see what happens.
Oh.
Not bad. 22.
So as if you knew what you were doing, the
Mhm.
ship comes just nose diving towards this landing pad, and you can see that the taskmaster, as well as a few of the other little workers who have emerged as you've descended, begin to move back a little bit, fearing the sort of aggression of your dive. At the last possible second, you sort of flare up and land. When you do, the rear right landing pad buckles. The whole ship sort of falls over, and the door opens and the seals break. You've landed, and you haven't crashed. It looks like it's not beyond repair by any stretch of the imagination. It's just going to be a little bit of elbow grease to get it back closed again in a little bit is going to need to happen. As you sort of see, those of you who are in the back of the ship can't help but see out into this warm, humid planet. There's not really any sounds of wildlife, which I'm sure strikes some of you as pretty odd. In a place as lush as this, you'd imagine there'd be birds or any kind of animal. The only thing you can hear is the sort of whirring and clicking down of your own spaceship and a faint little, a drone almost, a buzz that just ambiently exists everywhere. It's kind of like that summer buzz we all know and hate, but amplified a little bit worse. The Formian taskmaster begins to approach the ship as you all disembark, and Thurgood struggles to get yourself out. Wyra, the Formian, speaks to you all sort of loudly in a somewhat broken common. You are here for honey.
That is correct.
Yes.
I'm Wyra
Hi,
No.
Lyra.
from Myoposis. From Myoposis. And with one of its hands, he points up, and you can see well in the distance, sort of hanging in orbit, Myoposis is unmissable. It's a space station that's quite large and quite close to the planet. And it's around this time as well, you can see there are other ships that are sort of trickling down to other places in the planet as well. Other people on their missions, some of them probably losers as well. It has been many years since Myoposis come to Cerebos. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hiya.
I'm Maku Makadin.
Wyra. And you can see this thing has as many arms as you do, essentially.
I'm gonna hold out all three.
Its hand is big enough that it shakes all three of your hands with one hand at the same time. Our hive, down road, 1 hour time. Truck works. And he points to the small little building that's nearby, and some of the workers, instinctually, perhaps telepathically commanded to do so, begin to open a side hatch on the side of this building. And you can see there's what passes as a truck, a hover truck of sorts, that's in probably as good repair as the spaceship you came in on, but might work. It has windows, at the very least, and it looks like both the doors are closed. You can see it has enough room to fit 3 people in the front of it, and everybody else is going to have to cling on to the back. And Thurgood, you don't have an option. You're going in the back no matter what.
Yep.
But this thing will get you just that hour down the road, at the very least, that you need. Lyra sort of looks at you all. Hive know you're coming. I tell them now.
Thank you.
Go, now. It just points at the truck. There's no keys of any kind. It's just a quiet little hover truck. And Nival, as you're the first to go, you can see the keys are already in the ignition, as it
I'm
were.
like backflipping onto the back.
Hoo-yah, hoo-yah, flipping. I actually have a truck for this.
Hey.
I'm going to sit outside. I'm just gonna like park on there and grab a few things.
I'm actually going to steal the map here in a second. So as you sort of pile into this truck, who's in the front? Who's riding in the back? I know that Thurgood and
Back.
Nival are on the back.
Back.
I'm in the
Who's
back,
to
like
drive.
furthest back on the bed, like the furthest out. Sword.
I know how to drive
I'll
one
drive.
of these.
I'll drive.
Pretty please.
I have been cooped up too long. I don't want to go inside.
Okay, so we got Rulana
I'll go in
and,
the front.
and CV2 and Scriber in the front, and then everybody else on the rear. Okay.
I call middle.
There was never a choice. You're the smallest.
That's why I called it.
So when you turn the key to the ignition, the truck sort of sputters to life a little bit. It's sort of probably nuclear core of some kind of working. It rattles as it begins to sort of lift off the ground and hover drift as you sort of intentionally back it out of the little garage that it's in. But again, hopefully it'll get you there. You're not getting the best of the best in either case, it seems. But once the ship, or once the truck gets out into the sort of wilderness proper, it begins to sort of take on a bit of a life of its own, as if it's regaining some of its spirit, as it were. It's a truck that's been off for a long time, and with a little feather of the throttle, it sort of lurches to life a little bit. You can begin to sort of dote your way down along this road towards the hive proper. While I go get some maps and things ready to go for what you're going to do, have some road trip conversation.
Is everyone doing okay back there?
Oh, I am doing great.
Oh dear.
I have my legs like stretched out as much as space will permit, which is probably not much, but I'm
Hanging all the
massaging-
way off the back of
Yeah.
the truck.
and I'm getting the blood flowing in them again.
I'm just
Oh.
standing like you're sitting down, yes?
Yeah, probably.
With like my feet like in between your feet, so I like
Yeah.
a perfect stance.
Just barely making this work. Marco, it's a good thing you're small.
Well, sometimes it's very convenient. I bet you there's sometimes it's very convenient for you to be very big.
Yeah.
I meant a few words.
Nah.
I would like to say that you seem a little bit not very happy. So, are you okay?
Look how happy I am.
You are okay. You are happy.
Yeah, doing great.
Oh, okay.
Doing great. Thank
Because
you.
you don't look very
Well,
happy sometimes.
Thank you for asking.
You're okay.
Even I don't think that's convincing.
I am a stellar actor. Thank you very much.
You
He
can,
does say that he's happy. I believe him.
Sure.
Should take people at their word all the time.
You can relax for now.
Okay.
As long as you can swing a punch when the time comes.
Yeah. And I sort of extend my claws, as it were,
Just
and
like
wave it
thumbs up
around.
and look back out.
I wish I had claws like that.
Oof.
Got my elbow up, looking out the window. I've never seen such wilds. I mean, I've seen gardens and I've seen huge buildings and temples, but I've never been in a real forest before.
It's very beautiful.
It is
I've
beautiful.
lived in the forest for a very long time.
You lived in the forest?
In the forest. Well, there's lots of different forests, but yeah.
I just picture Matthew like hanging off the bed, like talking up into
Yeah.
the window.
I can
That's
lean-
definitely
lean
it.
out, yeah.
I'm thinking like sunroof. And just
So I'm
like,
peeking down.
Totally. You lived in the forest? Where did you sleep?
Wherever.
Wherever. Yeah. Even I
Like for
always
a
had.
long time, I just lived on an animal that lived in the forest.
What kind of an animal?
Well, I don't know. I was just a baby.
Okay. Was it your mother?
No.
Okay. You lived on an animal with your mother?
No. Just be me. Just by myself.
Just you. Okay.
Yes.
I don't.
There was another little baby skitter with me. I was too young to remember where they went, but they weren't there the whole time.
Okay. I don't know a lot about skittermanders. We didn't get a lot of skittermander visitors. I only spoke to 2 in my life. You're number 3.
I'm number 2.
You're my 3rd favorite skittermander.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, making top 3. That's great.
That is pretty good.
You just got to hold that
It's a
position.
very high number.
Yeah. When I know you more, maybe you can move up the list.
Oh, that would be very nice.
You seem very nice, Maku.
Yes.
You're very helpful.
I try.
Yeah.
I like to be helpful.
One of the other skittermanders fixed my shoe.
That's
It was different shoes. I lost that one in the explosion.
Yeah, you lose anything else important in that? Or,
I lost quite a bit. Yeah.
sorry to hear that, pal.
Everything but the clothes on my back.
Well, your clothes are very nice.
They are very nice. They can change.
You said you were the only survivor of that crash.
Oh, I was the only one who didn't need to breathe. It was half of a ship.
How many others were with you?
On that little thing, there were 13 of us crammed in. I don't think any of the other ships even made it.
Church of the Dawn Light keen on saving souls. Like, do you think by proximity to you, they're probably doing better in the grand scheme of things?
Death is just the end of life.
Yep.
A star dies, becomes a black hole or a supernova. That's just what happens.
If your
Life continues.
If your sun dies, will it become a black hole?
I don't know.
You should be careful.
I don't know if a Solarian's moat has ever died.
Well, just in case, you should be careful.
Yeah, let's
I'll
not
be
find
careful.
out.
I don't think I would have any control over that anyway.
And in the spirit of things dying, the air conditioning on the truck goes out just as you sort of come over a hill and can see that hole in the distance with a quartet of these tiny workers milling about a sort of series of canisters and kegs, which are pretty decently sized. These things are probably like 30 liters apiece, pretty substantial. As they see this hover truck beginning to approach, 4 of them, they run back into the hole, and a larger Formian emerges, clearly a warrior caste of some kind, rivaling most of you, with the exception of Thurgood, in size. And as the sort of hover truck dies a little bit, as you sort of winging around to face back the way you came, you can disembark and get a good look at these enormous containers of honey. It's exactly that. You can see that sort of the nozzles where they're loaded, wherever they're loaded inside this hive, have that really crummy residue that always finds itself on like ice cream machines, and it probably hasn't been cleaned in some time. It smells delicious, at the very least. Almost kind of like a more citrusy honey, if that makes sense. The Formian, who's sort of greeting you, is carrying with them a rifle. It's actually armed with manufactured weapons, and is giving you all a bit of a stern look in its sort of segmented, multifaceted eyes. And without saying really anything, just glances at it, glances at the truck, glances at it, glances at the truck. And is doing this over and over and over again.
Loading it up.
As you start the process of loading it up, you realize it's going to be quite the challenge for someone of your stature. Really, Thurgood is going to be the one who's going to have to pick things up, or a couple of you together trying your best.
We'll see about that.
Some teams in that. Yeah, no, I'm not the strongest fella in the world. Start hauling up. I'm gonna use my telepathic speech to try to speak to the foreman and say, "Gonna help, pal?"
You want help?
Well, I mean, it would make things go a lot faster, you know. You would spend less of your time, you know, eyeing us up and down if we just get this over with.
You get back what is essentially a telepathic sigh. We help. And a moment later, those four little warriors come emerging back up, sort of all at the same time, and all facets of this whole emerge. And between them and you start to get the ship loaded proper. Okay. Once the ship is loaded, you realize that in addition to low air conditioning, the hover truck is now slower, given that it's heavily laden with these canisters, and you prepare yourselves to head back the way you came. And just as the truck begins to fire up, that low hum and drum that you are hearing noticeably ceases. And you can see the instant that it does, the warrior who is there with you sort of perks up its head. And the four little workers begin rushing back down into the hole, as if something has caught them off guard. Something is awry, and they're not exactly sure what it is. You don't really know what is happening, but something is happening at the very least. And before you can even sort of share a knowing look with one another that something is wrong, you begin to hear a deep rumbling sound.
Draw my weapon.
Yeah, I'm walking towards the hole.
Certainly, you're walking towards the hole. And as you are walking towards this tunnel that descends at a pretty steep angle into blackness, sword out, you watch as the top of the tunnel begins to shake and collapse. As if it's an earthquake is beginning to occur. Because you notice that the canisters in the back of the truck are beginning to rattle back and forth, to the point that they'll probably need to be held a little bit or strapped in some way if you're going to keep them on, because this earthquake is growing and growing and growing.
Telepathic speech to drone. What's going on, pal?
The little warrior cast person who you're speaking with, Farrell's something. Flee now.
You got it.
And he begins to just run above the tunnel that has been collapsed. And you can't really tell if this is the sound of like 1,000 little insect claws working their way towards you, or the earth itself splitting apart, because it gets louder and louder and louder still.
Truck.
So you're still standing by the now collapsed entrance.
Yeah, but I'm now looking to see when other people are getting on the truck. I'll be like the last one on, kind of
You
thing.
start to pile.
Jumping onto the roof of the truck to look around.
Mako was actually like off into the forest while everybody was loading stuff, and like he feels the shake, and he's like, "Guys!"
I'm gonna get the
Can I see?
Skittermander.
Yeah, can I see Mako?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna run over and pick him up.
This
I
isn't going to
can
get us
run.
anywhere fast.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
While they're
Whip
loading
around.
the truck,
Yep.
I'm going to use my chem analyzer
Sure.
to take apart the bug spray 2000.
Oh, no.
Certainly,
Hell
yeah. Okay. It is mostly water.
Okay.
It's mostly water, and you can definitely get some hints of some chemicals that might bother household pests
Gotcha.
Yeah, okay.
at the best.
I'm going to throw it out the window.
Quality product right there.
Out she goes. So as you begin to sort of get onto the truck, grab Maku, sit on the roof, get onto the back, turn the keys once, twice, thrice, it finally turns on and is ready to go, you start to sort of lumber back the direction you came. And it's around this point, you realize that it is most certainly an earthquake. You can see ahead of you that some of the canopy of the forest is beginning to collapse, as if the ground beneath it is disappearing and the trees are vanishing. And you watch as this rift begins to form ahead of you, as well as behind you and off the side of you, as essentially perhaps a continental shelf of some kind is being torn apart. Because within just a matter of moments, as you're like, oh God, and you start to move the truck, there's a huge canyon forming ahead of you. Now, you know it's quite a ways to your spaceship. You also know that it's the canyon you need to go down, essentially, in order to make it in this sort of direction, the rate you're going. You can see, possibly troublingly, that the canyon that's opening up is pockmarked on one side with now sheared tunnels of this hive that exists below. And immediately you begin to hear, over the sound, the hum of the spaceship and the sort of loud crumbling of the earth, the distinct sound of laser rifle fire, just echoing from inside this newly formed canyon. And as you find yourself sort of up on a not quite cliff, but a ledge that's sort of leading in this general direction, you can see there's fighting occurring inside these tunnels, as the Formians, who you came and met, are fighting creatures that are similar in appearance to them, but far larger, far meaner looking, and are clearly have the sort of upper hand on a one-on-one sort of level. You start to floor it in the general direction. What do you guys want to do?
Maku was kind of like looking down in the canyon and seeing, should we help our new friends?
Nope.
We're following along the edge of it.
You're sort of following along the edge of it as best you can right now, yes.
Yes.
So what's actually about to happen, as you sort of keep discussing what you're going to do, is we're going to do what is kind of a chase in Starfinder, okay? You guys are all on board of a vehicle, which I have the stats for right here. I'm going to give one to each side of the table, and one for myself as well, okay? But what needs to happen is essentially a series of skill checks are going to occur to get you all the way to your going, hopefully in one piece. You are slowed down a little bit by the enormous, like, thousands of pounds of honey on the back of the truck. And it's up to you whether or not you want to get it to the Myoposis or not. It's not slowing you down too much. A little bit about the rules of combat on a vehicle, in case we inevitably get there. What it says on the ship that it has a modifier of -4 or -8 to attack. That means if you are firing or swinging off of it at something, you take that penalty when it's moving. Okay? If you're going at full speed, which is hecka fast, you take that -8.
Right.
So keep that in mind.
Okay.
If by chance the truck stops and you're just swinging at something that's beside you when it's not moving, you don't take that penalty. Okay? It's all about relative speed and all this jibber jabber. The first thing I need you guys to do as the ship begins, or as the truck begins to careen down this canyon, is I need the driver to please give me a piloting check.
Here goes.
To see how well you do.
We're going to go right down into that canyon.
You also take a -3 to this, given the construction of this hover truck.
Great.
So -3, you said?
Yes, please.
Oh my god, I can't add. 10.
10. Oof. That's not great.
Good start.
Hey guys.
Start yelling more to the not in the hole.
Yeah.
Not in the hole.
So as this truck begins to sort of lurch its way down this canyon to find as natural enough of a path as you can, it begins to build up speed and momentum. And you realize that the brakes, for what they are, is essentially just reverse thrust, and it doesn't have very much forward thrust to begin with. So inadvertently, like it or not, you find this hover truck bouncing off the canyon walls, nearly occasionally losing the honey on the back and the people on the back as well. As you're just beginning to skip, essentially, down into this canyon. The hover not so much working as it bottoms out several times on the way down. The truck is going to take 11 points of damage. So one of you can keep track of
I
it
got that.
on each side, keeping in mind it has a 5 hardness, so it takes 5 less damage, essentially, from everything. Okay?
It has 48 minus 11, but that 11's reduced by 5.
Yes.
All right.
And if it gets to 24 hit points, its speed gets cut in half.
Okay.
Okay? So keep that in mind. As the ship begins to thud its way down. It's also around this point, as you're sort of skipping down into this canyon, you realize that, like it or not, you're going to run aground. You're going to come across some of these feral Formian creatures that are pouring out of the canyon, pouring out of the holes. You got something to say over there?
I'm just gonna sort of pop up behind the cab, if that makes sense, and like set my
certainly
hand on top of it, essentially, kind of like those insurgent trucks or something.
Yeah. Just impromptu technical, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as this hover truck is skipping, smashing down this canyon, because you said that, you actually do have an easy opportunity to potentially take a pot shot at some of these feral creatures that are beginning to sort of congregate, as it were, in your path.
And they are with intent. They are getting in our space. I'm trying not to aggress.
Yeah, give me a... Are you trained in life sciences?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
No.
It's hard to tell what they're doing. Just they're swarming, generally speaking.
I'm trained in life sciences. I could kind of... I'm on, like, standing next to this giant turret next to my face.
Certainly, yeah. Go ahead and give me a life sciences check.
All right. Oof. 8.
8. It appears as if they're just swarming. It's like the anthive has been kicked, as it were, and although there's probably some structure to it, it's completely lost to you.
incomprehensible.
Yeah, you have no idea what they're doing. So as the ship begins to thunder on down, Thurgood, if you want to shoot, you potentially could.
I mean, are they in our way?
Not yet.
Gonna hold my fire until they're in our way.
Certainly, okay. What's everybody else doing, if anything? As they're sort of...
I'm still at the end of the bed,
Certainly.
sword
Just
ready,
waiting.
dead still.
Okay.
Just right-hand side of the, or whatever the passenger side of the cab is, window
Okay.
down.
I'm gonna pull my grenade belt out of my my drone.
Mhm.
Kind of like look in there.
Okay, so as you're sort of preparing for potentially the worst to occur, the hover truck finds itself at essentially the bottommost part of the canyon that it's possible to hold it. If you were to potentially slip and go a little bit farther to the right, you'd find yourself going down into a ravine that just disappears into the planet's center. It's potentially very bad. Thankfully, it's only wide enough to get stuck and not fall in, so hopefully that's not going to occur. As you're finding your way along the bottom of this, I need another piloting check from you, please. Because you can see you're about to have an issue where the sort of roiling mass of tiny insects is moving its way towards your path one way or another. And with a little bit of flooring it, you might get past.
23.
23. You thankfully managed to sort of move this hover truck past it. And those of you who are on board, unsure whether or not to aggress, you need to make a choice. Because even with Rulana's sort of impressive gas pedaling here, you realize that this sort of wave of tiny insects, which are maybe the size of a dog at the smallest and bigger than Thurgood at the biggest, are starting to encroach on your ship, or on your truck, sorry. And some of them are trying to almost swipe at it as it goes by, although it's 10, 15 feet away at its closest.
Yeah.
They are clearly of maybe not hostile intent, but hungry intent,
Yeah.
at the very least.
No time to hesitate. I take a shot.
Certainly.
Closest thing.
Go ahead, give me an attack roll, please.
8.
Hey, so the big enormous laser gun boom, shoots off and hits the one spot of clear ground.
Warning shot.
Warning shot.
Yeah.
Warning shot, and it seems as if it worked, perhaps, because at least for a second they left that one spot alone before it gets washed over by this complete and total mass of insects. As you sort of moved along, you realize that you're probably going to have to run some of these creatures over at the best, at the pace you're going. You definitely get the impression that with this honey on board, if it's coming with you, you're gonna be slowing down. If you decide to cast it aside, maybe they'll get to eat some of their own food for a bit, and you might be able to get away a little bit faster. But one way or another, seeing in the distance where you know that compound to be, the perceptive among you can see that your spaceship has been lured, has fallen into this canyon a little bit. As if it wasn't broken enough already, it's now at a good solid 50-degree angle, nose down into the ground, stuck in this canyon. What do you guys want to do? You can formulate a little bit of a plan as you're moving towards your spaceship, but you're going to begin for a pretty unwelcome landing, I imagine.
How many canisters do we have?
You have 4 great big giant canisters.
I think we can skim some.
I'm gonna
off
get your
the
ship.
top.
There's one.
Yeah. No, I think we can skin some off the top maybe if we're get it open real quick.
Can we put a grenade in one?
We can coat a grenade in one, but
Turn it into a
Put a
honey
grenade in
bomb.
one and kick it off the
Yeah.
back.
honey bomb. Wow.
I don't think we need to hurt them. They're probably just scared.
No.
I don't know, pal. Jeez.
This might slow them down though.
Might slow.
I
Might
think it
piss
will.
them off more.
Or
They might
piss them
just
off
really
more.
want the honey though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my gosh.
Lord.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dropping it there?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh, landed on her feet though.
Wow, that was
Yeah,
very
she's
dexterous.
she's very
That
acrobatic.
was very
All
nice
right.
indeed.
Yeah. Okay.
Place her back
Wow.
up.
So
Very
yeah, I
nice.
can
You're
only
on the
reach Maku.
canisters?
Are you?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Probably like right behind you, like grabbing onto whatever I can and
Alright,
like
I
peeking
don't know
over the
if you
top.
can fit on my mini.
And for ease
Well,
of
you could just
cool
put me on the
camera,
back.
Yeah, I'll get on the back there. Doc, where are you at?
Yes, we can.
Oh yeah, look at that. All right, get Maku righted as well. Doc, where are you?
I'm in the cab.
You are in
I'm
the
in,
cab.
I'm in
He's
the,
in the
the
middle
passenger
seat.
Proverbially,
in the
you
cab.
were in the cab.
Yeah.
I
Much,
guess.
that's good.
No, it's good.
I was
bring
also-
people to the foreground. So there's
Yeah,
not
I
enough
would
room
be
for
on the
me
other
and
side
Thurgood
in the
up there.
cab.
So so the camera can see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry. What? Dude, ooh, what?
Just put CV2.
Oh, yeah,
place
go
where
for
the
it.
camera can see.
Yep.
Mhm.
I see now.
And
And we'll
Rulana's
stand
over here as well.
Rolana's driving.
Maku up. And can somebody pass me? No.
Okay.
Just
You
barely.
got it.
There we go.
Alrighty, there we go. There's the gang. So you are. I don't know. We'll put you up here. How about that?
Okay. So as this hover truck is hurtling down towards the general direction, you get a sight that you can see your ship is in trouble. Your spaceship has sort of flopped down. And you can also see that that matriarch who you've met, Wyra, is currently engaged in combat in the distance. You can see that laser rifle that he had is firing off at some of these feral Formian type creatures. As you're approaching a sort of junction in the, I'm going to put road ahead, there is a collection of these little chittering creatures blocking the path. Now, you have plenty of speed, I can tell you that much, probably by virtue of you can't slow down, that you could potentially attempt to plow through them and risk some damage, some further damage to this hover truck. You could utilize your various skills and weaponry to potentially blow a hole through them should you so desire, or alternatively, there is a sort of fork in the road that will take you up and out of the canyon, but away from the direct path to your ship. What do you guys want to do? And I'm going to point at the driver first, because you're the one making the decision as you're hurtling down the road.
I think we're going straight through them, guys.
Alright.
We're going straight through them.
Alright.
Question with the canisters.
Yep.
There was talk about like trying to skim some off the top of one. Are these canisters that would be able to open fairly easily, or are they?
They have
like
a
big
spigot.
sealed? Okay, cool.
All right, we're going through.
We're going through them. There's
All right.
no. We don't have much control over this thing at this point. The more things that are climbing over it, the less control we have.
Got it.
We just need to barrel through.
All right.
and holler at the spokes bear.
Light them up. All right. Hearing that, I flip on full auto.
Go ahead. So you do need to give the attack roll.
Yeah. Well, there's several, but
Several penalties. Because we're not actually in combat yet, just roll me a d20.
80-20. Okay.
There's so many of these little tiny creatures that it's going to be impossible to really miss with a whole flurry of laser shots. So go ahead.
Nat 20.
Okay, so it seems as if that one shot, that warning shot, was exactly that. Because this time, when the sort of torrent of little beams of energy go shooting out, every single one of them seems to hit where they're intending to, as if you're aiming in the weird spot just behind the head that kills lobsters. That sort of thing, as they just begin to die, clearing enough of a path for the truck to crash into some of them still and not take as much damage. Please give me a piloting check, and then we're going to roll initiative.
Starting initiative with no rounds in my magazine.
There you go. Oh yeah, that empties your magazine. When you pull it out. Woo.
A 14, okie dokie. So as the truck sort of slams into this little mound of guys, of little ant-like creatures, the truck only takes 5 points of damage, meaning none, thankfully, because of its built-in hardness. Thurgood managed to, with the expenditure of all your ammo, clear enough of a path. I'm going to grab some minis, and we're going to do some initiative, and if anybody needs to use the mushroom, now's the time. I only say because I need to.
Okay.
Daniel,
Yep.
grab me my other.
I absolutely will.
Thank you.
I am going to grab these cool minis and let you all bask in their glory.
Yes. We're gonna have the lovely experience of.
Oh,
Oh, those are
yes.
beautiful. Oh
Whoa.
my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know two of you are in the ship.
You can't see them. You can't see the minis in the camera. Either.
I know you. Oh, yeah. Can you guys wiggle the thing?
And, oh yeah. Alrighty. Cha cha cha. I see some lag in there.
There we go.
Oh, look at
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Perfect.
There we go. Some
Alright,
really,
this
really
guy's still
cool
out of frame.
miniatures.
Just, yeah.
Just move them in.
Nice.
Whatever.
You want plugged? Yeah. Good.
There we go. That guy's in frame. How about there?
Oh, it's the ones that are on the other side.
That's
we can't
okay.
see. That's fine.
That's okay.
That's all right.
We get the gist of it.
Those are
Mhm.
beautiful. God, those are beautiful.
Thank you.
you
You
do
are a
those,
fantastic, wonderful painter.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Not me. This one.
Yeah, he dropped them on my desk on a Monday and said, "Hey, can you get this done by Saturday?" And I was
Just
like,
four
while
full
I was
size.
finishing character
problem.
minis, and I was like, "Yes, but I hate you."
I pretty much painted all of those minis last night.
The
Oh,
The
yeah.
truck and the.
yeah.
I painted some on the stream, and the rest
So
I
it's
did like last night.
Totally not a food truck.
I mean,
With my gas.
it isn't. It isn't.
Technically.
I don't think it
It can be at other times.
There's food on it.
technically.
I mean, anything with a food, any truck with food on it is a food truck, I
That's
suppose,
true.
in a roundabout kind of way.
Yeah.
Dean.
Can we do anything in character or?
During the craziness,
Oh, I guess we're
Maku's
hitting
just gonna
initiative.
like shout up at you and be like, "Whoa! I can see how you were a really cool war hero."
He doesn't even say anything.
Growls.
Yeah.
Okay. As we wait for Jackie to get back, we can go ahead and roll some initiative, please.
Yeah.
That is not good.
Yeah.
I'll throw a Maku back there.
15.
Thurgood?
5.
Oof. Doc?
7.
Oh my goodness.
Or sorry, 8. Math is terrible.
That's better. CV2?
Also 15.
Okay. Nival?
21.
Twice we rolled the same
Woof,
one.
Yeah.
You're speedy. As Jackie comes back, I absolutely need to go to the washroom.
Yeah.
There's 2 washroom.
Is that lasers?
It sounds like it. It was that full on.
Ready, we're back.
Oh, God.
It was a long full auto.
I mean, technically, it's only 9 shots, but we're not.
9
about
perfect
technicalities.
shots.
Cha, 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 cha. I'm gonna have to do the lovely job of filling dead air. What do you want to talk about
Okay.
for this moment?
So this all seems a little rough.
Like, I think you were right about the matte making the contrast better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll try to auto
Yeah,
do
auto
the.
balance
I
the light.
haven't set the light balance on the cameras yet.
Right. Shit.
We might need
Don't
to
tell
do
'em.
something different for battle cam. I don't know.
We're going to eventually.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
the intention.
Yeah,
We
the
have a
mon-
battle cam, but the computer
Yeah,
hates
it
it.
wigs out. I know.
Mhm.
Breaks all the other cameras.
Proper streaming setup with all the.
Did you paint those ones too? Man.
Yeah, you missed that story.
In like the last week.
Yeah, he dropped them off on my desk Monday and was like, "Can you get this done, please, by the weekend?"
Yeah.
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 It's a passion project.
Yeah. It was Monday. I was in there painting, and I came out. I'm like, "Oh, paint them like lobsters!" And they like scurried back in. He's like, "Okay."
Oh, that's great.
They're awesome.
They are very full.
They're like, they really remind me of like half.
TPK episode is rough.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen.
we didn't fall in the canyon. It's okay.
Yeah, that was gonna.
A couple of natural ones on the piloting checks.
rat will flee the ship.
Thank you.
And what'd you get for initiative, Rulana?
I got 15.
Oh my goodness. 3 people tied at 15.
Whole side is at 15.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, so we're going to do the same thing I do with my home games here, which is if you are tied for initiative, you can choose who goes first, okay, on any
Yeah.
given turn. So if you're all
Maku will
tied,
probably go last.
every single turn, you get to change it,
Oh,
okay? So you just get to choose whenever you want.
There's so many possibilities.
So many possibilities. So bear with us, everybody watching at home, as we go through our first real combat.
Yeah.
We're going to do good, I hope.
Oh, we'll be fine.
You'll be fine. As despite the efforts of Thurgood clearing a great big giant chunk through them, the hover truck has unfortunately run a bug. I want to say aground, but you've essentially filled your radiator with tiny little Formian creatures. So as the hover truck sort of lurches to a halt, the enormous canisters on the back nearly crushing Maku as you're wedged behind the back. You thankfully strapped down enough. at the top of the round, going first, trying to clear the path ahead of you. Nival, you are up. Our first combatant of this game.
Yeah. Can I reach any of them from there?
Almost certainly.
I can't even see where you are. Oh, there you are.
I'm on the back.
On the top.
So
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to jump down, run immediately
Certainly, yep.
up to this guy and take just a big old swing at him. You can't see it on the cam, but that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Come swinging down.
Fantastic. So as you go moving on up, give me an attack roll, please.
It's a nat 1.
First
roll.
Who said TPK on there?
Rusted.
They
just
called it.
So it seems as if these feral creatures, that you've heard them be called, have a little bit more intelligence than perhaps you're letting on. Because as you go to swing, this creature sort of lurches backwards, and your sword finds nothing but thin air. Unfortunately, not hitting at all. Anything else to do on your turn?
That is it for me.
That's too loud. There we go. I'm going to turn that off. Sorry. Okay. That's it for you. Bringing us to tied at 15, everybody else. So Rolano, CV2, and Maku, you get to pick who's going to go first during this turn. I will say one thing you can do is try to move the truck. That's an action you can do.
Right, okay.
Still in the driver's seat. If you do so, you'll move at the listed normal speed, which might leave some people behind, or not.
The 15 feet? No, wait.
Yep. 15 whole feet is how
Okay.
sort of quickly you can try to drive it forwards in structured combat like
Right,
this.
okay.
Or you could just hop out and try to clear the path. It's up to you. Which one of you wants to go first?
Well, Mako, I guess, can go first.
All right.
He's gonna jump down and he's gonna be like, "We're friendly. We're not here to hurt you." And he's going to run and jump down and try to grapple the bug that's in front of Nival.
Jump it down.
Oh boy.
And it's 23.
So you're trying to hit their KSE plus 8. Oh, so you essentially managed to grab a hold of this giant bug-like creature and then get immediately thrashed around a little bit as you can't really control it at all. And come hell or high water, you're forced to essentially let go before it slams you face first into the ground and tries to bury you. You don't quite get a hold of it.
Can I take a 5-foot step back, or
You
is
cannot.
That,
That is not in this game.
Mm.
Yeah, guarded steps is a whole action you can do.
and we have to do all our movement at once.
Yes, unless you have the feet.
Well, guarded step is a move action, right?
Yes, but Mako's already used a move action
Yeah,
to get
I
up.
moved
to
to
get up
get
there.
down.
Gotcha.
Yeah, our little cheat sheet is under the table if we need it later on. So, as Maku just comes lunging, trying to grab a hold of this creature that Nival tried to chop in half, neither one of you can seem to get a hold of it. Let's see if it gets any better.
When you talk about the driving, sorry, is
Yep.
that a full action, standard action, what? Or move action?
It would be a move action.
It is a move action, okay.
I can go.
You
if
wanna
need
go?
to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get
Make it happen.
I'm jumping.
so
And I'm running. And I guess this is my first turn in combat, so I have to pick a mode.
I believe so.
I have to pick photon mode because that's the fun one. Photon mode, and you can see I grab onto my little mote thing, which has been going around my hand, and I grab onto it, and it doesn't like get consumed by my hand. It looks like I'm holding like a tiny little ball, and I have like a weird brass knuckle thing made of the sun with the planets flying around it, and it's pretty awesome. And I'm just gonna charge full speed at that guy over there.
Yep.
And I'm gonna try and punch him in the face.
Here we go. I have faith.
I have faith,
Punch
too.
him with the sun.
Punch him with the sun. Dirty 20.
A dirty 20 will absolutely hit. Go ahead and roll some damage.
Right. 8.
8 whole damage.
8 bludgeoning damage with the sun.
I forgot to move
Your drone.
my drone.
Oh.
You can do it. Well, you can. It's all in the same initiative.
It's all the
you
same
can go
initiative,
ahead and
yeah.
move it if you would like right now. Yeah. R1. Do. 8. And you said it was bludgeoning damage, but is just for my clarification, when you're punching with the sun, is it still bludgeoning?
It is, yeah. It still counts as like an archaic weapon, and I have to pick bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing.
Weird.
Yeah.
I like it. So as you go running up towards this crab-like bug creature and punch it in the face with the sun, you're the first one to actually manage to connect. And when you do, you can see that its shell, the carapace, splits down the center of its head pretty horrifically. They're not exactly super durable, but it is still kicking, however.
All right.
Bringing us to Maku's little drone.
Well, I moved. I
And they-
can't do both.
Okay. So it just comes and scurrying across the floor, sort of disappearing in size comparison to these enormous creatures, bringing us now to Rulana.
We're on a bit of an angle there. Am I 10 or 15 away from that?
You're inside the.
You're currently inside the cab.
No, I know. Sorry, the cab though.
Yeah.
From that closest one that's immediately in front of it, is it 10 or 15?
I would say 10 feet.
Same.
10, yeah.
It's 2 squares diagonally. What Dan think?
Well, that'd be 15 if it's 2 diagonal.
So I
Well,
could
no,
attempt
you
to
can't.
ram
Doesn't
it.
it go
Yeah, we'll
5,
call it.
10,
You can go
and then-
15. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be
The
somewhat
contact
loosey goosey with the truck. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because we're all on an angle. as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
okay. Rule of cool.
Exactly.
What the hell? I'm gonna try and ram that.
Yes.
Yes. So all you need to do is give me a piloting check to drive the truck. It's a very low DC, and then I need to make a reflex save to get out of the way of the truck, and let's see what happens.
18
Oh,
and
yeah.
8 minus 3. 23.
So the hover truck sort of finds its gear again. You drop it into 4 low and begin to move towards these bugs. One of them is definitely going to be in trouble as it attempts to get out of the way. And what's the DC against the ram?
10.
10. Reflex. So that's a pass. It's going to take half the damage. And the truck will also take half of the damage, including your hardness.
Okay, and it's 66.
Whew,
66.
that's not going to be good.
That's nice.
Okay, so 22. 28 is the total damage, so half that.
Nice.
Was
So
that
14.
And the truck takes 14 damage too.
Less 5.
That's 5. So I take
No.
9.
9.
Woof, maths.
Math rocks. So as this truck comes sort of careening into these bugs, if you can scoot the truck forward a little bit to make contact, I can let you know that one of them is essentially pinned beneath the truck. It's still alive. It's still alive, but it's very, very unhappy with what's going on right now. And it's like sort of clawing at the underside of the vehicle.
Is it this guy?
We're going to call him the guy closest to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anything else out of Rulana? You still have a standard action left.
Okay, cool.
And that might be wrong, but that's what we're going with.
I am going. Sorry, a standard action left?
Yes.
Yes.
And Doc, you're on deck, and Thurgood after that.
I can use a move action instead of a standard action, right?
Yes,
Okay, cool. So I will draw my my laser pistol.
certainly. You ready to just fire out the windows and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Lean out the window.
So although I said Doc was next, the creatures are actually next, right after it. And they're going to begin to sort of swarm around and try their best to take you down, starting with the one right in front of Nival and Maku. It is going to attempt a bite attack against Maku. Because you essentially grabbed a hold of its face, so it's now going to use its face to try to grab a hold of you. What is your kinetic armor class?
14.
14. I got a 15 on the die exactly. Which means as the sort of gross mandibles begin to open up, the sort of chittering, spiky teeth come lunging towards you, and you were already grabbing a hold of its mouth. So it finds some purchase in and around your stomach, biting in, hurting reasonably. Not that hard, never mind. Dealing 6 points of piercing damage and grabbing a hold of you. You're not grappled, but it's getting ready to try, essentially, if that makes any sense.
Just gonna look at him. Ouch!
Yeah.
Ouch.
You're just holding on. Ouch, 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 please no.
You big meanie.
The creature that is currently pinned underneath the truck is going to try to get out through the truck. So it's underneath the floor, you just hear the sound of scrapping claws and sort of little teeth trying to bite at the tires that don't exist. And it's going to try to get out by attacking the truck. Does the truck have an armor class? It should.
Yes, it does.
Not much.
Somewhere.
KAC or
13.
EAC?
KAC.
Oh, they're both the same anyways.
Okay. So it definitely hits the truck, and we'll do 6 damage, so 1 damage to the truck as this creature essentially claws itself out from underneath the truck, no longer essentially pinned. So the one that's closest to you is free to move from here on out. The one that's in between, can it fit in between the truck and the other guy? So it's gonna scurry over there, smart enough to get out of the way, and move right up to Nival if it can.
Yep. I should be able to.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is your armor class, Nival?
For bites,
Yes, please.
19.
19. That is.
I am all armor.
You are armor.
I'm a squishy boy.
That is a 21.
Oh, come
to
on
hit.
now.
I'm sorry. I don't make up the rules.
Dan's got those good
Yes, you
weighted
do.
dice.
Dealing 10 points of piercing damage as it sort of latches on and tries its best to bite a hold of you. And finally, poor CV2 over on the far side. This creature is just going to rear up its ugly head and try to swing down against you. What is your kinetic armor class?
Also 19.
Okay, so it's 19.
If it makes you feel any better, I got a 23.
Yum.
Not
I feel
really.
great.
Not really.
Mm.
Dealing only 6 points of piercing damage as it bites and screaming, squealing in the process. The rest of you, as all this is occurring on their turn, you can see that there's a ton of little tiny ones that are on the battlefield but not represented by minis because they just exist. These tiny little,
Ambient.
like, chihuahua-sized bugs that are trying their best to nip at you. Maybe your tiny drone is, like, shaking them off with its legs, but they can't even hurt
Okay,
it.
so they're like tiny.
They're tiny. They can't even hurt it. They're
Right,
nuisances at best. Bringing us to Doc.
All right. So I guess I'm really kind of up in here, up in the front on this side.
Yep.
So I'm gonna lean out the window and just take a shot at the one closest to the cab of the truck there.
Certainly. Now, under normal circumstances, this would provoke attack of opportunity, but you're in a truck, you're out of reach, and it's preoccupied. So you can go ahead and shoot on down.
Perfect.
Now,
And
go ahead.
oh yeah, so I'm gonna also use one of my
Sure.
inhibitors in my dark.
Oh, okay. So go ahead, take a shot.
That's a yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a-
yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
natural 20.
Oh, yeah.
So you get to do some damage, first and foremost. And the way we're doing it at this table now is dice twice and modifier twice as far as damage goes.
But it's ranged, right?
Yep.
So no modifier.
That's true.
Yeah.
Dice 20.
What am I doing?
Rolling your dice
Rolling
twice.
damage.
That's a 4 and a 3.
Nice.
And the inhibitor is a -2 to AC.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Like
Nice.
permanent -2?
For
Or, like,
6 turns.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Long enough. That's great.
I'm going to give it this little ring. You can stick this little ring onto that creature. That way we just know that it is affected.
Hanging on
It
its
says
neck.
flat-footed, but it's for all of our purposes. We know that it is slightly messed up. So sort of sticking your injector gun just almost touching this thing, trying to tranquilize it in the side.
Pop, pop.
It lets out a little faint shriek at first until the injection goes in, and then things go really, really wrong. And you notice that it's probably going to be noticeably slower, hopefully to your favor.
Sorry, 1 sec. I'll just find my note wherever that went. Oh, wait, never mind. That's not me.
Anything else? Out of
Nope,
Doc.
that's all I got.
Fantastic. They're good. Your
Alrighty.
empty gun.
Move action to reload.
Certainly.
Spike the snake cartridge onto the ground. So that's reloaded. Sticky bombs have, I believe, 10 feet of radius.
20.
I believe so.
Is it 10?
I believe it's 10. Can I lob a sticky bomb such that it gets those two, but not any of my allies?
Well, you can tell because it'll be the centermost ring. Right there.
I'd
Okay,
say yes, just my
I'm
eyeball.
connected. I'm connected. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Get it without anybody else? Okay, cool. That's what I'm
Center
gonna
one?
It should be the outer one if it's 10 feet.
No, that's a 20-foot radius.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you can hit the 2 bugs without
Yeah.
hitting anyone else.
Okay.
I think that's a 20-foot diameter.
Diameter.
Because that definitely
It is
only
20
5
foot,
feet.
20 foot
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah, so the little one is 10 feet. and the big one is 20 feet.
But that
Diameter versus radius is what she was saying there.
that's a 20-foot diameter. Or-
Everything that's listed in the armories for radius is always radius.
No, I'm saying that ring looks like it's diameter. That inner ring looks like it's 5 feet. If you put it down on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then move it back a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it should
You could still do it.
10 feet. Yeah, 10 feet, get the bugs, not my friends.
Easy
That's all.
peasy.
Hitting AC 5 with
Yep.
no penalty.
Yeah, because you got a football arm.
Pass.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So I need to make a DC. It's what kind of saving throw?
Reflex 14.
Four. Well, that's a 1. So the one closest to me, you can give it the entangled trait, please. Because that's the old natural 1. And then you said it was 14?
Yep.
14 exactly.
Hey.
And on a tie.
On a tie, it goes to the victor.
Okay.
So I'll leave this one right here.
So they are entangled for 4 rounds.
4 rounds. I'll leave it to you to keep track of that, please, if possible. So that you notice there's this sort of just sticky goo, almost a honey-like substance perhaps, sprays out in every general direction, catching mostly the one closest to the epicenter. The guy closer to the truck is already slowed, but not that slowed, it seems.
Yep.
Anything else out of third good?
For reference, entangled is half speed, cannot run or charge, -2 to AC, attack rolls, reflex saves, and all dexterity-based checks.
Jeez Louise.
Wow.
So that one's in trouble.
Yeah.
Speaking of trouble, Nival, you are up.
What one do I want to attack? I'll go after the one that's flat-footed directly in front of me. I'm
Certainly.
just going to take a swing at it again.
Yeah, the inhibited one. Inhibited. I hate that word.
Oh, that's much better. 19.
So it's -2 AC, correct? That absolutely hits.
Ooh, I get to roll damage.
Yeah. So his big old sword swing comes
Watch this
down.
paper cutter from inside the truck slip by.
Okay, so when I hit as a part of my cleave feat as well, I can automatically make one additional attack to an adjacent enemy.
Is
as
it when you
well.
hit or when you kill something?
It says one hit.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
So that is 11 damage
Good, good. Okay.
to that guy right in front of me. And I assume I have to roll to hit for the second one, correct?
Probably yes.
But then I also get -2 AC to myself until next turn by doing it.
Okay.
Just so you know. That's also on that one.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry.
Ouch.
Thank you.
But
The
still,
karma
with one
system.
solid swing, you basically managed the one right in front of you. You basically bisect its face this way.
Is that one I got in that one twice?
I know he's immune, it seems. So you managed to bisect its face grossly, and this ichor sprays out everywhere. It's pretty much not affecting you. Unfortunately, getting Maku a bit sticky, but it is still alive, but clinging to life. You can definitely tell. Anything else out of my
Yes, I'm also, after doing that, as my move action, I'm going to interfere, which kind of puts me on the defensive, in particular Maku, so an adjacent ally gets +2 to their shield AC until
Nice.
the end of my next turn.
Nice. Easy peasy. So, Maku, you're a little bit harder to hit, at least for a little while. And speaking of, it's your guys' this side of the table's turn, so you can decide what you want to do.
Same order?
Sure.
Really?
Yep, I'm easy. Good with that.
Maka, do I have any if I wanted to try to grapple again, do I have any
Nope, he's not dead yet.
do I have any penalties to try to grapple again since he's holding me?
He's not actually holding you.
Oh, he's
It's-
just
You're in the struggle. Neither one of you can really
Okay.
control the other yet.
Do I get any he has -2 to his AC. Does that count
Yes.
for the grapple
Yep.
as well? Okay. I'm going to attempt to grapple him, and I'm going to be like, "Look, we're friends."
Okay.
And
It's frightening.
oh, I got a natural 20.
Yeah.
So I'm going to we're friends, and I'm just going to grab all my.
So I need
arms.
to get another ring. My goodness. Where is
Dogpiling. Love it. This game is all about.
grapple? So as the tiny 2 foot and change Skittermander grabs a hold of the nearly pony-sized bug, grabbed it by its face, you could throw grappled onto that pile as well. That'd be wonderful.
Man, oh man.
Jeez Louise. So grappled, I'm pretty sure its speed now is 0. If our condition master over there can let us know.
-2 to AC attack rolls, reflex save, and dex-based check. Cannot make attacks of opportunity. Cannot move or take any actions that involve 2 hands.
Hands.
2 limbs.
Okay, so now we got a compounding minus AC going on here, and it's stuck.
So as Maku's like forcing him to the ground, my drone is going to. Oh, I have lots of range. My drone is going to attempt to shoot it with its with its stun gun.
You're going to tase the bug?
I'm going to try to tase the bug.
Fantastic. Go ahead and give me an attack roll for your drone, please. It has -4 AC. That's for me to remember.
All right. Dun, 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 dun. I didn't write in the attack bonus. It's ranged, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It is 17.
A 17 very much hits as this thing is being grappled by a skittermander and a web grenade.
So it's going to do 4 points of non-lethal damage,
That's this guy. Okay.
and it's stunned.
It's not actually stun. It's the stun effect allows you to switch to non-lethal.
That makes sense.
Always.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's it says it's it has the effect stun. It's stunned for 1 round.
Cool.
Please look it up for me. I believe you.
Yeah.
Please look it up for me. Because that poor guy's going to be stunned. I'll dig out that condition ring as we get to either one of you, as this poor bug is now like convulsing horrendously. Yes, it's
Pretty bad.
has a sick-arm skittermander on its face. Which one of you wants to go up?
Oh, I'll
Go
go
ahead.
again. As my move action, I'm going to use my Solarian Weapon Crystals variant boost.
Good
Wow,
goodness.
that's a mouthful.
Oh, this game.
Is it an anime?
I know.
Let's throw
It
some stun on there.
basically means until the end of my next turn, on my next hit, I have a mini smite, basically, a 1d3. Cool. If I hit.
Nice.
Good goodness.
I know. And I'm going to just take a big old swing at Buddy in front of me again.
Okay.
See what happens. Whew.
Oh, nice.
Dirty 20 again.
My goodness, that'll definitely hit.
All right. So I'm just going to roll a d4 and subtract 1 for the d3.
Okay. Oh, it's easier if you roll if it's a D3, just roll a D6.
Oh,
Get some D3s. I think they're cool.
yeah.
They exist.
So the white one will be the d3.
Okay.
And okay, so that's 11.
11. My goodness. So you can definitely tell that 3 of these creatures are hurting. They're not dead, but as you sort of focus in a little bit with your amplified sun knuckles, this creature that you've punched now twice, you're now punching deeper into its head, essentially.
Great.
And yet it doesn't need all of its head to be lethal, perhaps. So it's still clinging to life,
Oh my gosh.
but
okay.
just clinging. Anything else to do? And a CV2.
That's it for CV2.
Fantastic. Rulanda, you're up. Can you tell me what page it's on, Megan?
No, you were right. I think it's only stunned if it's a critical hit.
If the critical hit, you get that arc thing.
Oh, that's the critical
You
effect.
get the
Okay,
arc.
yeah, I was reading the critical effect, not the
Hmm.
special effect. You're right. It's just
Non-lethal.
it's non-lethal. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay. I am going to take a shot down at that one that used to be pinned under the because I'm still in the cab there, yeah.
Yeah, so just waving your hand out the window.
With my laser pistol.
Certainly. So before you roll, I just want to remind everybody. I want to remind everybody, you have the option to always take 2 attacks in this game.
What?
Yeah. Every character of every class can always attack twice, but doing so, each attack takes a -4 to hit.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
that's something that everybody can
That's
do.
also your full action.
It's
Yeah,
also a
it's
full action to do so. And some weapons don't allow it, like big, heavy 2-handed weapons that can
Yeah.
only fire or swing once per turn. But
Mm.
for the most part, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you have not moved or done anything yet, you could fire twice.
There's a -4 on my attack roll because I'm in the cab though, yeah?
Only if you're still driving it.
Only if I'm moving?
Yep.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So you fire once or twice.
I'm gonna fire twice.
Yeah, let's see if it works.
Oh, the first one does not hit.
Oh no. Maybe the hover truck is still rocking, finding its position.
Question while she's
Yep.
rolling: does it have to be the same target that's hit twice?
Nope.
Nope.
No. Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Oh, that's a nat 20. So
Hey.
that is going to hit because it was like 23 minus
Yeah.
the 4, I guess. So yeah, 19.
Always hits.
It's a D4.
So then just 2 of them. Pew, pew.
And if you have a critical effect, that goes off too.
Yeah, it should. I
This
think laser
one?
pistols have burn, probably.
It does.
Yep.
A D4 burn.
Woo.
Nice.
That's on its turn. It takes the burn.
It takes the damage at the top of its turn. I
Yeah.
believe.
Okay.
And it can attempt to put itself out, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, as an action.
Yeah.
So that's
Is it
3 damage.
I think
3.
so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can't even blame the
That's
dice
rough.
this time.
But it's on fire, and I probably have a burning ring.
Burning ring of fire?
No.
I can tell you what burning does.
Yeah, I was waiting for someone.
I do. My goodness. Let's just jam as many different things as you possibly can.
Well, I had to take off the stun, right?
Nice.
Can't even see the minis anymore.
Yeah, just mounds and mounds of stuff. So as this creature, as you fire in, unfortunately, I think mostly its carapace, still enough of the sort of thermal energy essentially gets through to ignite some of the gooey bits on fire. And this poor creature is on fire now. Anything else out of Rolana?
No, I'm going to stay in the cab for now.
Fantastic. It is the bug's collective turn, so at the top of the round, can you please go ahead and roll me a d4 for the one that's on fire?
1.
Oh my goodness. Well, every little bit helps, though, at the very least. So this one creature that's currently on fire is going to not use an action to try to put itself out. It's too dumb for that. It's going to scurry up the side of the truck itself, sort of crawl up awkwardly on the front window.
Get off of me.
And go for Thurgood on the very, very top, knowing that you got the big, giant gun, and you're at least probably the literal meatiest of the whole bunch. What is your kinetic armor class, please?
15.
Say again?
15.
15. 14. Thankfully. So as this creature is affixed to the front of the truck, I'm not going to move the model, but it's trying its best to get to you, Thurgood. It is adjacent to you for the purposes of combat.
Okay.
Going forwards, okay? The one right in front of CV2.
Wait, for the burning thing,
Yes.
the way that works is
Yes.
at the end of its turn now, it
End
makes
of
a
its turn.
reflex
Okay.
saving throw, and the DC is 10 plus the amount of fire damage it took, so 11
So
in this
11.
case.
It is no longer on fire,
There you go.
and thankfully. So you watch as it's a short-lived little of flame, but it's still crawling its way up. Now the one in front of CV2
Yep.
is going to just attempt to try to bite you, and you know what?
Jump.
I want 2 attacks too.
Oh, go for it.
Aye.
Not 20.
Oh, fun.
Screen peeker.
No,
He
I pointed.
gestured. He
I
gestured.
did.
Okay.
I promise you.
Aye. So this one, with his first bite, really finds purchase. Sort of, he punched its mouth open. So we'll
did.
say its head essentially tries to like swallow your entire arm, and there's some weird like muscular throat piece in there that's doing the same.
The second mouth.
Yeah, the one that's deep in there.
Yeah.
So you're taking 11 points of damage.
That's why I buy stamina.
It's almost as much as I took without it being a crit.
Yeah. Sometimes it is. And then we got a 13 to hit.
That does not hit.
No, it's a lie. 9 to hit.
That definitely does not
2
hit.
attacks. Okay. So as this one's trying its best, it's essentially chomped somewhere up the middle of your arm with its second internal mouth, but it can't quite find purchase with the second one.
The second.
The second internal mouth. Bringing us to the one that is inhibited right in front of Nival. It's going to attempt to try to bite into you. Only one bite and a 15 hit. Does a 15 hit?
No, I'm at 19, but 9 minus 2 because of my last thing.
Okay.
Took me a minute.
Either way, it doesn't hit you as you manage to sort of throw up your katana shetty in time to block its first mouth from trying to bite into you. And then finally, the one that's right in front of Maku, that's grappled by Maku, is going to attempt to ungrapple you, essentially. So I need to hit your kinetic armor class plus 8 in order to break free of the grapple.
Do I still have your +2?
Yes. To your AC.
Does it will not because it's plus 8. So I only got an 18, but it's your KAC plus 10 in this case.
+10, and I get the plus.
That's including.
That's including.
Oh, including it's 24.
24 Gs, yeah. So right now, this poor entangled and grappled and electrified bug is trying its best to like shake Maku off its face, and it's not working. You got a lot of arms. You're latched on pretty harshly. Bringing us to Doc, followed by Thurgood.
So this one is
On
kind of wedged up the front of the
yeah,
truck.
it's literally you're just staring through the windshield at its underbelly.
I'm going to just lean out and just take a couple shots point blank at
Certainly,
it.
given that there's a whole window in between, no attack of opportunity, nothing like that. You can just fire away. You jam the gun up into its guts.
And it'll also be a biohack, same the -2 AC.
Okay.
11.
11 unfortunately does not hit.
I just
Now,
hit that shell.
you hit the shell, or you didn't want to put a hole in the window, maybe, perhaps. I don't know. But either way, enough of its gubbins got in the way that you didn't find any purchase, and the dart sort of snaps off and lands somewhere else. Anything else to do at a Doc's turn?
Gonna cry.
No. Bringing us to Thurgood, who has a giant bug in his face.
Boy, howdy. Is there enough space on top of this thing, this truck, to take a guarded step?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to.
Yeah, you could like sort of back yourself up onto
Yeah. While still remaining sort of where
Yep.
I am ish.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. And what's the penalty once I've backed up 5 feet, or there is no
There is
penalty for taking a ranged
Yep.
attack? Okay. Full attack. 1 at that and 1 at that.
Certainly.
First one.
So sort of backing up and like pushing the bug,
Yeah.
trying to get it off your gun, essentially,
Yeah.
scrambling up onto the canisters. You fire away.
Can't full attack.
16?
That is correct.
That is correct.
Sorry.
Then I will take a single
Thank
attack
you, yeah.
at the one that is at me.
Yeah.
Do you want to take the roll that I just
Yep.
took? All right. That is a 16.
A 16 will hit.
Alrighty.
See, we're learning the rules.
Yes. That is 7. 7 fire damage.
Again?
7.
7.
Fire.
Okay. Oh, you nearly blast the entire bug off the top of the ship or truck to the point that it nearly falls down, but clings in. Those of you inside the cab can just hear like nails on
Oh,
glass
that's great.
as it leaves a couple of gouges in the front of the cab, but it's still clinging to life,
Excellent. That's it.
bringing us to Nival.
So this one that Maku is grappling right now has a -4 to AC.
That is correct.
So Nival's gonna go, enough of this, and do something kind of cool. So she's gonna take up her sword, but unlike the last attack, when she holds it up, you'll see frost form up along the blade, and she's gonna swing it down, fighting defensively, but also using Entropic Strike.
Good goodness. Okay.
So that attacks their EAC.
Beautiful. Okay, which is lower.
And just so you know, I'm also using a point, an
Okay.
entropic point. Hopefully not no, very good. That's a 22.
Well, against his functional 9
Yeah.
energy armor class, you definitely hit.
So right, 1d3 and 4. So we round up or down?
Up.
Okay.
Always up because it makes me feel better.
That is a 9. And that would trigger my cleave, correct?
It will, yes. And before you even do your cleave, as the frost sort of swings in, Maku, you find yourself abruptly holding a head and nothing more. As that one can be removed from the battlefield.
Yay! Still holding the head though.
You can just tip it over like it's dead.
And if you want to, you could pass it around so people can get a good look at it.
Oh yeah.
He's
beautiful.
You can go ahead and do your cleave.
I'm gonna swing up at that one.
'Kay.
Now would that also count as entropic strike?
Yes.
Okay.
You could I would say you could change between them.
I would want it to still be my frost. 17.
A 17 definitely hits.
2, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's an 8.
Oh my You very nearly, with one fell swoop, chop off 2 heads. But unfortunately, it bites in and it sort of turns its body wholly enough to throw your blade off, stopping you from chopping its head off, but nearly chopping its head off. It's one of those weird, like, hanging knuckle kind of things. It's literally clinging to life.
Nice.
Anything else out of Nival's turn?
That is it for me. That was full action. That's it for me.
Okay. This side of the table.
Maku is going to just turn and look at Nival a little bit disapprovingly and being like, I had the situation under control. Okay?
And now the situation is under more control.
And he's going to try to grapple the one with Nival.
Casting down one head and jumping onto the next one.
Does that one have any minuses?
Yes,
or anything?
-2 AC.
-2?
Yeah, it's not quite flat-footed. It has the inhibitor thing,
Okay.
but the closest thing is flat-footed.
Oh man.
+6, 25.
So, just casting aside one head, you just latch onto the other one, and grab a hold of it, making it grappled. So if you have that grappled condition over there, Zach, you can go ahead and chuck it back onto that one.
And
Sorry, I jumped in right as you took the picture. That's great.
is there enough room in there for my drone to get a good stun in, or would I have to move?
Oh, you could absolutely do it right now. Yep,
Okay, so he's gonna take the double
certainly.
double stun. The first one is a 17,
Against EAC will definitely hit.
and the second one is a -4, right?
Yes.
Okay, that one is a 5.
A 5. So even being grappled by you and inhibited by drugs, a 5 is still not enough. But the first one definitely hits. So you can go ahead and roll some non-lethal stunning damage, please.
3.
So as you're grabbing hold of its face, you nearly chopped its head off. Your little drone just shoots it in the guts, and it drops down completely unconscious on the ground in your hands, doing its one remaining hit point.
He's gonna take a couple of his arms off and be like, "It's under control."
Yeah, we'll see.
The creature seems, compared to the others, somewhat calm, and in the instant that it drops down prone, the sort of skittering carpet of tiny little ones begin to crawl all over it as if they're immediately trying to eat it, despite the fact that it's not dead.
Maku's gonna try to swat them off and maybe with one of his other arms pop one in his mouth.
You can certainly do both.
Mhm.
It doesn't taste very good.
It's Maku, so
It
probably
tastes delicious.
fine.
Yeah.
It tastes exotic.
Exactly how
I
you'd
haven't
want
had
it
this
to.
one before.
Yeah.
Bringing us to Rulana and or CV.
Gonna go ahead.
I'll go first again.
Okay.
So it is now round 3 of combat for
Mhm.
CV2. So CV2 is now a little more glowy than usual
Oh, yeah.
and is getting very pumped up and is now going to explode.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So anybody who happens to be looking that direction, you just see basically CV2 explodes like a supernova, because that's what it's called.
So cool.
Yeah.
Those of us on the side just probably see a nice light.
Yeah, you see just
Yeah, you just see a flash.
Hey, Rulana, just cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's taking pictures?
Maybe Maku can see underneath it because he's really short.
yeah. Under the
Paparazzi's
truck.
found us.
What is that?
Whoa.
Oh,
So what do I got to do?
I rolled 12 damage
Ooh, jeez.
on 2d6. So save DC is 12.
A reflex, I imagine?
Yeah, reflex.
It's enough, but even with half damage, you've punched it in its third mouth, essentially, with fire, as this flash of just flame appears. When the flames recede, all that is left is a little part of its mandible still on your hand, as the rest of it has just been vaporized, essentially.
Beautiful.
You can go ahead and remove that guy from the battlefield.
I'll let one of you guys do it. Sure. I think I can still move. Let me double check that.
Yeah, let's find out.
Yeah, standard action. So
Beautiful.
move action. I'll just head this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, there. Okay, bringing us to Rulana.
Whereabouts on the cab is that thing now?
Like,
It's almost all. Well, he knocked it down some though, right?
yeah, he knocked it down without moving it. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
Oh,
still occupying the
okay.
same 5-foot space. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just reaching around. Take 2 shots
Really
at
like
it.
this visual.
Yeah. There's the two of you with gangsters, and everybody else is fighting you.
Man, I love it.
19 and 3, 22 to hit.
A 22 will hit.
A 1. And I'm gonna take a second attack at it. So this one's -4 then.
Yep.
The second attack.
They both would have
They
been.
both. would.
Oh, okay. The first one then would have been like an 18, I guess.
Is what it hit.
Okay. Second one is 12 to hit.
A 12 does not
Okay.
hit. So this time, as you fire once with your laser pistol, you manage to sort of, again, singe it a little bit, but it's still alive and well ticking. Anything else out of Rulana? It's a full action, so probably not.
No.
Okay. Bringing us now to Bugs. Oh, this poor one in the middle. What's he now? He's grappled and
Flat-footed.
flat-footed.
How long
No,
is
he's not. He's unconscious.
Oh, that's the one that's
And
unconscious.
he's
That one's
unconscious,
unconscious.
yeah.
You only got the one on the
Yeah.
windshield.
Okay, so only the one on the windshield then. What's he gonna
He was
do?
in such a good position.
Yeah. Well, he's got CV2 right there, and Rulana, and geez Louise. He's going to scurry up onto the top of the truck proper. Don't worry about moving the mini, but we know where he is. And it's going to attempt to bite you through the roof,
Okay.
Cool.
thus attacking the truck directly.
Not angry.
And the truck's armor class, please.
13.
That'll definitely hit the truck. Dealing 10 points of piercing damage to the truck.
Okay.
So keep in mind, if it gets past that threshold, it slows down even more, which
Yeah,
won't be
slow
great.
down.
Wait, it's -5.
Yeah,
so
minus 5.
It'd be 5.
Oh,
minus 5,
right.
not 10.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
We're still there.
Thurgood, directly in front of your face, is a big giant bug is now like almost turning around, and, like leaving itself vulnerable in a sense, trying its best to bite through the nuisance that's inside the truck. Either trying to eat Rulana, maybe trying to get the doc. Both little morsels in a tin can. Either way, that's all it does. The one that's unconscious stays unconscious because these creatures don't have resolve points, so it's just unconscious. Bringing us now to Doc and then Thurgood.
I'm gonna. So where
It's like on top.
It's
So does
above
Doc have
you
line of
now.
sight?
on okay.
Yeah, you do. You can like sort of poke your head out.
I'm gonna shoot down at the one that is all
Unconscious.
messed up.
Certainly. So
Helpless.
let's look up the unconscious trait there, please, Condition Master.
Yes, they're knocked out and helpless is -4 AC against melee attacks, and their Dex modifier goes to -5. So
Woo!
it would reduce
Reduce their AC
their AC
by a lot,
by a lot.
in addition to being inhibited and grappled and unconscious. So
I don't
go
think
ahead
you can
and
miss it.
go ahead and don't roll a 1.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all.
All right. And if we're not moving, you don't get the minus.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a 1.
14.
You definitely
Yeah.
hit.
Right
So
on.
as this poor thing is like groaning and moving a little bit on the ground, you just point your injector gun out and thunk.
But when I do, I do 1
Do
or 2. Sorry,
well.
2.
1 + 1.
That was no injection.
No injections. So as this sort of dart of air essentially drives in, it causes enough to maybe cause a mini embolism because it's still alive, still unconscious, still grappled, still drugged, but alive. Weirdly. Anything else?
Poor
Out
thing.
of Doc, bringing us to Thurgood.
Yeah,
Great big giant bug stomping around on top of the truck right in front of you.
I'm gonna put my boot on its neck, as it were.
Yep.
And I want to be sure that this thing is dead, so I'm gonna take a full attack
Yeah.
adjacent to it. So
It would be attack of opportunity.
okay, yeah, I'll take it.
And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Does a 16 hit.
Yes,
Ugh.
that's fine.
Dealing 6 points of piercing
6
damage.
points of piercing damage. Thank you. Okay, yeah, 2 attacks +2. One is an 11, the other is a 17.
Against KAC or EAC?
Okay, EAC.
The second one hits.
So another D10. 1 fire damage.
Oh,
A great big
Yeah.
giant laser. It hits the carapace primarily and punches a tiny little hole in it, which burns inside, but, well, not that much.
Yep. That's
Wanted
okay.
to make sure it's dead, and you did anything but, unfortunately.
That's
Anything
okay.
else that they're good? No.
No.
Jeez. Bringing us to Nivel with an unconscious, nearly dead drug.
Nivel's going to do something really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Badass. So, looking back at the first one that was driving her nuts, she's going to flick the blood off her sword,
Yeah.
put a foot down on top of his head,
Yeah.
and deliver a coup de grace.
Woo!
Oh, that's right.
Just like straight down, not
Certainly.
hitting Maku.
I'm sorry.
Certainly. So,
Mark.
coup de grace, make sure you still
It
need
automatically
damage.
hits and
Sorry,
scores a
Mark.
critical
we'll have a
hit.
chat about
Easy
this.
peasy. So go ahead and roll some damage for critical hits,
And you can only do that against helpless
Helpless
or unconscious
creatures,
creatures.
yeah.
Yeah.
which is exactly what this thing is.
Beautiful.
Yeah? So Maku, you're holding onto its face, wrestling with it despite the fact that it's unconscious, when an enormous blade
13 damage.
just comes two-handed stabbing down through it and just
Poor
pops
baby.
its head clean off. You can go ahead and remove that guy from the battlefield. The poor thing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yes,
It had a
please.
bad day.
He has had a bad day. Leaving with 1 on the front of the ship, or front of the truck. Anything else at a Nivel?
Nope, just cleaning her sword.
So it's just sort of pretty badass, I imagine.
Just killed 2 of them, yeah.
Bringing us to this side of the table and a clearly unhappy Maku.
Maku is like looking at both of your directions and like clearly like this is probably the first time that you've seen Maku not ecstatic about something. He's like, there was no need.
Maybe it's like a worm, and then two will grow back.
He's just like looking at you like devastated.
Poor Maku.
As he's like saying that to you, he's like flicking down his goggles and he's going to move his drone. Well, how does it work if I want to climb and move at the same time?
So you get to move half of its movement speed for free, no checks whatsoever. If it moves its full movement speed,
I have a climb speed.
if it moves its full movement speed with a climb speed, you still need to make an acrobatics check.
Okay. So I'm going to 5, 10, 15, 20. And then would be this, like 10?
Yeah.
10 feet?
Yep.
Okay, so...
Again, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
and then I have to make an acrobatics check.
Yes, please.
Acrobatics is... it is 16.
Easy peasy, the drone.
And he is going to... Because Maku's controlling it,
Yep.
I can take a shot at that one over
Guy
there.
on the
He's
roof,
going to
yep.
take a non-lethal...
Okay.
Non-lethal shot.
Zoom. Stun goes in.
Plus 3 is 19.
19 will very much it. Go ahead and roll some non-lethal damage.
1.
Wow.
You guys have done 3 damage was the most you've done in a single hit to this guy. By the way, so this is now a mini boss. I've decided. As the drone crawls up and zaps right sort of under Thurgood's armpit into this thing's face. It twitches a little bit, but it's still alive. Anything else out of Maku? I imagine not.
No, he's just going to flip his goggles back up and kind of stare in Nivel's direction disapprovingly.
Bringing us to Rulana and CV2.
Do you want to take your shot first?
Sure.
Go for it.
Yeah, we'll just
Once again out the window.
yeah, 2 shots again. So the first one would be a 14.
Does not hit against
The
KZ.
second one won't hit either.
Oh
then.
my goodness. This really is a mini boss. I've
Yep.
decided. You
Is that
just
kinetic or energy?
kinetic.
Okay.
Yeah, right? Because it's a semi-auto pistol.
Oh no, it's my laser pistol.
So a 14 still doesn't hit, unfortunately. So pew, pew, it reflects off this guy's mirror, laser-proof, gun-proof carapace, it seems. Bringing us to CV2.
All right. So it's like half up on the truck.
Yes,
I'm not half up on the truck.
it is in reach.
It is in reach. Okay. Well, I got to get reattuned.
Punch it in the butt.
I'm gonna punch it in the bug butt
Okay,
Mm.
my solar brass knuckles, I guess.
certainly.
So cool.
So is re getting attunement any sort of action, or does it
No,
just
I
happen?
have to pick one at the beginning if
Okay.
I'm not attuned, or I
Okay.
can choose to remain unattuned. But
Okay.
I do not choose that.
Fantastic.
Let's take us. Well, let's try the double attack.
Yeah.
Because why not?
It works so well for everybody else. I made
It
it work.
works very well for everybody else. Ooh, 18 and 19.
See, that's fantastic. Those will
Yeah.
both hit.
Mhm.
See if you can kill the mini boss.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I get to add 6 to both of those.
That's true.
So it's 15 damage total.
Wow.
Plus the 2 hits.
1, 3, 15.
Yeah, so mini boss is still clinging to life.
Oh my
But
gosh.
well, you've done to total like 7 or 8 damage to it prior to this point, and now you've punched it in its butt so hard you've punched you've punched its 5th mouth, the one that's in there somewhere.
Don't tell me what the details of that mouth.
I won't tell you where the 6th one was.
Yeah.
Anything else to the CV?
No, that's all I got.
Punch past the 6th one into the 5th one.
the two-way system.
Oh man.
Bringing us to its turn,
Yeah.
and not being particularly pleased with being punched in his butt, it's going to wheel around, sort of face down the truck, and attempt to go after CV2.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. That is a lot. That is 20 and change.
That's enough.
Oh.
Yeah, 19 plus a whole bunch of stuff. Dealing 5 more points of piercing damage.
All right.
As it's on top, missing a couple of its mouths, still manages to essentially bite you in like the head shoulder area. And I imagine you're starting to get a little bit worse for wear,
Yeah.
but you're still alive. So is it. Bringing us to Thurgood. Nope, sorry, Doc, then Thurgood.
I'm just gonna take a shot at it.
Certainly.
Yep.
It's finally hurt. I can tell you that much.
Fuck.
Oof.
Oh no.
That's a 1.
No, dude. So it just shoots wide. There's probably one of the little tiny Chihuahua ones, like 400 feet away, that got hit by a lawn dart.
Meant it. Meant it. Meant it.
Count it. Put it as a kill. But
Yep. Getting the tattoo.
anything else to you? That's a single
Well,
shot. So
I'm just
okay.
smiling and nodding on that.
Bringing us to Thurgood.
Is there any penalty for inflicting non-lethal?
No.
Yes.
Is there?
Yes.
For making a non-lethal attack?
It's a -4 to hit.
-4 to hit.
Yes. With
If it doesn't have the
yeah,
stun
with
feature.
weapons that normally don't deal non-lethal damage,
okay.
it's a -4 to hit.
All right. Well, I'm gonna look at our sulking Skittervander, lean back, and try to aim for a non-lethal part of this bug with my
Can you do non-lethal with guns?
with guns. Maybe not. I do.
I will very quickly go take a look.
I am curious about that.
I don't know. I don't think you can. I normally don't like reading, but
I think that's important because I feel like non-lethal damage is going to be an important part for
yeah.
a character.
Well, there's a specific reason why he's upset.
Sure.
You can use a weapon that
Yeah.
deals lethal damage to deal non-lethal damage instead, but you take a -4 penalty to your attack roll.
So you can go ahead and try to shoot it softly with your gun.
Shoot it
Shoot
softly.
it in the foot.
Yeah,
Wing it,
basically.
graze it. Yeah.
10.
Mini boss lives.
Mini boss live
He
another round.
refuses to die.
Ugh.
So as this thing is clinging onto the front of the truck, still very much alive. I would have gotten an attack of opportunity against you, correct? If you're adjacent to it still, or have you moved back?
Well, I took that guard step a couple.
Oh,
turns
that's
ago.
true.
Didn't
That's
move
true.
towards
That's
me.
true. So you basically shoot all around it, and don't manage.
I'm just having fun.
You're just
the
having
threat
fun.
is mostly passed.
Yeah, Rulana and Doc inside the truck. You definitely hear like as some of the lasers hit the back of the cab, but he was shooting softly, so it didn't go through. Bringing us to Nivel's turn.
Oh no.
Nivel's gonna go up. I'm gonna use an entry point to give me an extra 10 feet of range to get up there, so I'm not cheating.
Yeah.
It's counting.
Mhm.
And I'm going to hit it with another entropic strike.
Yeah.
Against its EAC.
Slash it in the butt.
17.
A 17 will hit.
Nothing but mouths.
What's half of 5? 3?
Yeah.
6.
6. So, Nivel, as you sort of slide around to the front of the truck, this thing which is still sort of spinning in place with all of its various legs, unsure exactly who to hit, it being accosted on all sides, I'm going to give you the how do you want to kill it?
It's going to be one of those watching people be nice and be kind and having punched it in the butt. I want to judge about how far up CV2's arm is. Just chop its thorax like, against the truck.
Yeah.
Shink!
Oh
God.
god.
Directly above it. Not hitting it there.
Fantastic. So, CV2, your arm is now free. Your sword sort of embeds in the A-frame of the truck ever so slightly, not enough to hit anybody inside, as the mini-boss gets bisected and falls into 2 pieces. In the immediate aftermath, you realize that although you just killed 4 of these creatures, there are many, many more on approach. You essentially have hit the vanguard, the front wave of these creatures. Because on the other side of the canyon, which you're seeing, they're still pouring out of the now porous landscape and presumably going down the bottom and up the side. Because you can see the sort of carpet of mini bugs is flowing upwards like a reverse waterfall on this canyon. Getting the truck into gear is certainly going to be a high priority. You can see your ship in the distance is still knocked over ever so slightly. And in the interim during this fight, the Taskmaster, Wyra, has stopped firing. The combat has ended there. Although you're too far away to make out any detail as to who won. Perhaps he's dead. Perhaps he's not. What do you want to do? Also, some of you are clearly pretty wounded, I'm pretty sure.
Everyone back in the truck?
Hop in and keep going.
Yeah. Floor it.
Yeah.
Is there any way that Maku can look for the battle, where to see whether or not that?
Yeah, certainly. You can give me a perception check if you would like.
Okay.
So as you're all sort of piling in, Maku finds yourself right on top of the truck and like squinting and staring out in that general direction to see if you can
1.
see a 1.
A dirty one, but a 1.
Oh no.
So right now I can tell you, even with a 1, there are clearly several dead feral Formians and several dead normal Formians. You haven't made any sight, heads, or tails of the larger Taskmaster, Wyra, but combat has ended there. Both sides seem to have lost. With the truck into gear, you head in that direction? Is it the
Heading
plan?
back towards our ship, yes.
Mhm.
Our ship, yeah.
So as you're moving your way as fast as you can in this hover truck, which is damaged, slow, covered in bug guts, some of it's probably in its inner workings, it grinds in that general direction. Like it or not, you're constantly sort of running over these small bugs that are springing up over the ledge, and occasionally one of the bigger ones sort of approaches over just in the nick of time as you get by, and there's a couple of them making chase, moving a little bit slower than you are, broadly speaking, when you're going full speed. As you approach your ship proper, you notice in the truck, you hear it at first, but begin to feel it second, there's still continuous tremors occurring throughout this planet you're on. You can also see at this point that several of the other ships that had came down alongside you are in the process of going back up
Yeah.
towards the Mayaposa, sort of signaling that this is not a limited local event. This is happening pretty widespread. And as if to make matters potentially more dire or worse, you can see that beyond your spaceship, sort of in the new canyon that it's in, there's a ridge, a small, not quite a mountain in the distance, but you can see essentially a landslide occurring. But it's not so much a landslide as it is a mountain slough. It's splitting in half. If you remember that A Cool Mountain Helens video, the whole thing sliding, it's that kind of a scale, as if the entire mountain range beyond is beginning to move. And you begin to hear a clearly mechanical thrumming noise beginning to emulate from somewheres beneath you, as if there's something that's moving, perhaps causing this whole calamity to occur. But you don't have time to pay attention to that too much right now, as you are barreling as quick as you can towards your spaceship. Does anybody have anything they can do in the moments before you arrive at your truck or at your ship?
I would like to see if there's anyone in comms range.
Certainly. What's the range of your comms unit?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. While you're looking that up, Thurgood?
So our ship is still kind of cantered, right?
Yes.
But it is not surrounded at the moment.
It does not appear to be surrounded by anything. Okay. No, you can give me another perception check as like a couple of seconds have gone by, a minute maybe, as you're moving towards it.
When you say moments, what are you talking?
Like we're in objective time now, or subjective time, so you get a little bit of a moment. 11. So as the hover truck is getting closer and closer, you can see that no, it appears it's not swarming with insects, save for a couple of little tiny ones that are milling about. But as the hover truck becomes a move towards it, the ship begins to shift as if it's about to roll over, almost, it looks like. It's going to be an interesting situation to get it off of the ground at all to begin with. And you can relay that to the party if you would like. What did you're up to?
Who's in the cab with me? Is it Sam in the cab? It's me. Just you? Yep. You climbed him back?
I guess. Sure. You didn't leave me behind.
You can freely move about.
Okay.
In this non-structured time.
Yeah.
You can move about the hover truck.
Looking around, who looks the most injured? I think you
Might
took
be
a
me.
couple of hits. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to reach out, and you will feel warmth from my hand, and you'll hear 5 hit points. Or no, not. Yeah.
Stamina points?
No, hit points.
Health points? Hit points?
Did you take any damage to your
I
hit
did,
points?
yes.
Okay, yeah, 5 hit
Oh.
points.
Nice.
Thank you.
I can reach anywhere on the same planet.
That makes the nanites
On the
happy.
same planet, but not to orbit, eh?
No, just on the same planet. It says an effect, the planetary range is an effect with a range of planetary can reach anywhere on the same planet. This also covers
good.
targets in orbit
Oh, in
around
orbit.
the planet,
In orbit.
There you
such
go.
as moons or artificial satellites.
Certainly, yeah. So you could put a call out towards the Mayaposis if you would so like.
I would like to say our ship is damaged. I'm not sure we can fix it on time to get up. I will try, but if someone is in the area that can give us a lift, it would be much appreciated. Thank you.
We have what you asked for. Didn't lose anything. You can tell them that.
We also have all the cargo
Probably like a good 30 minutes. Like,
Okay.
since
I'm
this is all
gonna
sort of
just replenish my biohacks.
Okay.
As per
Certainly.
Thurgood's mentioning, I'm also going to mention that we have the cargo in pristine condition. So if they would like their cargo secured, aid would be very appreciated.
So you get two responses almost at the same time, and as they're sort of overlapping with one another, that awkward moment of no you talk first sort of occurs before a boisterous voice comes over first that says, "You're on your fucking own!" from a ship. You don't recognize the voice or who it is, but someone answered just to tell you you're screwed. But the second voice you hear is one you haven't heard before, and it carries a weird sense of authority even through the radio. "This is Manifester Kurgitz. Leave the planet as quickly as you possibly can. The Myopulsis is making for the drift."
Do you have anybody that can aid us in leaving the planet? It might take me a while to fix our ship.
Radio silence.
Guys, the Myopulsis is leaving, so I think we need to figure out how to get up there really fast.
Okay.
Oh, we're leaving too, aren't we?
If we can.
Well, our ship looked really damaged when we got off of it.
As long as the doors close.
Well,
I think it needs to fly too.
Well, as the hover truck gets down to notice, Thurgood, you notice that the ship was beginning to sort of wiggle and waggle, if not because of the tectonic activity going on. You're unfortunately greeted by something far worse than that. Because as the hover truck sort of gets nearby, you watch as the moat almost tips over entirely. It's now like up on its side, not quite breaking apart, but still clearly losing some panels as you watch a very large set of mandibles appear over the edge of it, followed by several sets of legs, followed by an enormous creature which in its mouth has Taskmaster Wyra in its mouth. This one is big.
Oh, God.
First and foremost, we throw the ship up there.
Oh no.
Where's?
Is this for scale? Oh my
Oh,
god.
This is for scale.
Oh,
Here, I'll
no.
move this out of the way.
Oh no.
What? Oh my god!
Oh, no.
No way!
Whereabouts?
Right on top of the ship, if you can help it.
I'm going to try to see if clearly see that that he's in the mouth.
Oh yes.
I'm gonna see if he has a comms unit and say, "Are you okay?" Oh, he's like dead in his mouth.
Yes.
That tracks from Echo though.
I don't think he's okay.
So as the space truck is still moving along towards it as quickly as you can, we're going to need another roll of initiative, please.
Oh, God.
As the big giant bug is on approach.
Oh, no.
Guys, I don't think I can grapple this
That
one.
looks good.
You can try.
Again.
Yeah.
Dropped on my desk Monday with those ones and said, "Can you get this done by Saturday,
It's
please?"
so pretty.
But here's the thing. You did.
I did.
It's amazing.
Which means I can drop things off on Tuesday.
No.
Okie dokie. Initiative, please. Rulena.
21.
TV2.
5.
Oh.
Aku.
5.
Stop it.
Thurgood.
8.
Doc.
14.
Nival.
14?
Yeah. 14 club over here.
Yoo-hoo!
What's up?
At the top of the round, Rulana, you are up, currently still driving the truck at full speed. You got lots of options.
You know what you have to do.
You've got options.
I mean, how far away are we?
You are you're going at like half speed, but of the full speed. So stopping, like right now, the full speed is like 400 feet or something like
Yes.
that, right? So you're going 200 feet per turn,
Okay.
and you could stop, like do dead stop during your turn
Why are we going half speed?
because it's damage, is it not?
No.
It's not. Never
Not
mind. You're
quite.
going 400.
Very
You're
close.
boom, zipping in. So basically, you can stop your truck wherever you want on that battlefield.
Okay.
Well, so again, it's hard because it's like flipped over. So it's if you're standing anywhere beside that ship, you'll be able to hit it.
I'm just gonna yell hit it.
Our ship, though.
Leave.
But I mean,
No.
How bad is the ship?
well, hit
The ship
it.
is like it looks like it's been in 3 car accidents, but possibly still
How
functions.
are we gonna get off?
Listen, if we ram into
it.
that.
No, it's up in the air.
Again, if you can get in base contact with the truck or with the ship, you can hit it as well.
Does our
Yeah.
ship have airbags?
No.
Find out.
Yeah. So all this
Yeah,
conversation
so-
is happening as the hover truck is
As we're
screaming.
barreling towards it.
We can ram it without ramming our ship.
Absolutely.
Also.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
oh.
that's what.
That
Hit
is
it!
what I'm
Hit it!
going
Hit
to
it!
pick up our
Hit it! Hit it!
Yeah, I'm ramming the creature.
Oh, here we go.
yeah.
Give me a piloting check, please.
Right.
Oh, no.
As at full speed at 400 feet per turn, whatever that is in miles per hour, I think 20.
Yeah, can I tuck and roll it before we hit
70
it?
kilometers an hour ish.
15?
That's more than enough.
Oh,
So
okay.
I need to make a DC something.
DC 10.
Oh my god.
I can't see it.
That's a 4.
You got a 4?
So,
66.
not 10.
Not
Oh my goodness.
24.
Good God.
Nice.
Back it up
your-
and do it again.
Your truck takes half of that damage.
Now it's a
yes.
damage truck.
Now it's a damaged truck. Yeah, so
But it takes 12 minus the 5, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it is damaged now, but okay.
It's like a lobster zerd.
We're not going anywhere else.
yeah, you can go ahead and move the truck all the way up in base contact. So essentially, at full speed.
They're good. I would have hopped back into the
Yeah.
yeah.
Into the
So the
back.
truck going 70 kilometers an hour crashes into the ship, into this giant crab creature for a moment, pinning it against the side of the moat. But then its considerable size takes effect as it essentially pulls itself out from in between the two vehicles and is looking rather perturbed at the truck.
Yeah.
Bringing us to anything else at your turn. Sorry, it's like an action to
Uh,
drive it. You
that's
still have a
action.
standard action left.
Standard action.
You could shoot it.
I'm still carrying my pistol
Yeah.
in one hand.
Bang!
Yeah, what the hell? My laser pistol. I will take a shot at it. That is a 13. to
A
hit.
13 does not
Okay.
hit, unfortunately.
That's EA against
Still
EAD.
today,
Okay.
yeah. Easy to see why, because you also had the -8 because you're going full speed.
Oh, right,
So
yes.
way worse than that. But
Yeah.
you did still hit it at highway speed, so
Yes.
it's pretty unhappy. As it slams into to the side of the moat, we now come to Nival and Doc tied at 14. And they're good. You're on deck after it.
Good.
Which is after
If you
them.
want to go, I'm inside.
Yeah, I'm on the back.
Yeah.
You sort of
Do we have to
launch
like do a reflex save or anything to not go flying
Yeah,
out of
half
the
of
truck
us are on the
dying?
back.
Yeah, let's find out. You think of what you're gonna do, and I'll see if you can do it or not.
I was laying down getting my wounds
It's like, oh yeah, the full
Patch,
body
patch,
massage.
patch,
is
blah.
great. Ah!
Yeah, glad I decided to do that.
And for the purpose of mechanics, this is considered a new combat, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Do you have to choose
Yeah, if it's
every
every
different
combat,
combat?
yeah.
Maybe you could just keep punching stuff on the way. Keep yourself
Permanently
moving.
stay in combat?
Is he staying on the ship?
Yes.
Magic tricks. Without ripping off
What? Oh, he comes off the base?
Sure does.
Oh, cool.
We're very careful.
legs. I heard two of them pop.
Oh no.
It's okay.
You
Like
can leave
pop
one
in a
on
good way
base.
or pop in a bad way?
It's just battle damage. You can just glue them back on. Have it blended. Oh gosh.
We knocked the leg off when we smashed into
Movie
it.
magic.
Yeah, he did. That's fine.
No.
Yeah, we knocked one off when we rammed
No
it. But
damage.
It's a good truck.
Yeah. It does
Lots
have
of
airbags.
safety features.
There, it
We're
has
all
airbags.
just like I've got like
What do you-
Yeah.
arms
Inertial
clinged onto
dampers.
everybody and then also
Inertial
onto the ship.
dampers. That is
That's the
true.
word.
Yeah.
Inertial dampeners. There we go.
Go Star Trek.
Go space truck.
It's all Maku's grapple skills. Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh yeah.
that was badass.
New picture. So, Nival, you're on the back of the truck. You haven't taken any damage, even though you're on the back of it. It's now at a dead stop. What do you want to do?
Can I hop down and get up there in my normal 25 feet?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You could even like put yourself on top of the roof of the cab if you wanted to, where Thurgood kind of
You
is.
can't see me with this thing, but I'll be up there.
Okay.
Like climb up on the ship, and I'm going to swing at it with my entropic strike.
Beautiful.
No, probably not. 5.
It definitely does not hit.
I take a
Again,
while to warm up.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I get it. The inertial dampeners only dampen so much as you're velocitized still, and unfortunately don't manage to hit, bringing us
We're on the ship, right?
to
Yeah,
Doc.
we're on the
Yes,
truck.
Or on the
Okay.
truck.
Couple questions about the truck.
absolutely.
Does it have cruise control?
It does not.
Okay. Is there anything in the truck that we can use to wedge on the gas?
Probably.
Okay.
I have
Right now it's stopped.
I want to find
I have my drone.
it's gonna go away.
I have my drone.
You're good with losing the drone?
Well, it's gonna go away forever.
Yeah.
You're gonna explode it.
Not exploded. I'm just gonna say that we should turn it. It doesn't like the truck at this point. It might follow the truck.
That's a good idea.
Got our paycheck on it.
Okay.
Take it off.
Just
knock it off.
Kick it off.
Knock the stuff off.
All right.
Someone knock the stuff off.
They're
I'm
gonna
gonna
get on
dig-
top of
I'm gonna
that.
dig through the truck.
Okay.
Dig through the truck
Yep.
and look for a jack or
Certainly,
something
yeah.
to wedge on the gas.
So because you're not the driver of the truck,
Yep.
we'll say it can be essentially a move action to do so. You easily enough do find a sort of like one of those like steering wheel lock things
Yep.
that you could probably use
Exactly.
and hand it to Rolana at the driver's seat and then still take a standard action on your turn.
Okay, cool. And I mean I'm actually not gonna take. I want to jump out
Sure.
and you just yell to Thurgood to knock the crap off the back.
Okay. So you go ahead and pop yourself out of the truck. You already kind of are, and put yourself somewhere within moving distance of the truck.
I mean, I'm just gonna be like right there.
Certainly.
And I yelled it at Rolana about turn it away
Okay.
and
Well,
jam it.
Rolana, being the only person left in the truck, you're about to have a potentially bad day as this
you in the
big
truck?
giant creature
On the back of the truck.
I'm still on the back.
in the cab of the truck. You're about to have a potentially bad day as when you slammed in to this big giant creature, it's now about to try to slam back. You are right in your reasoning. It does not like the truck at all. It's coming through the front window.
So I
You're so smart.
I'm smart and handsome.
Yes, if anything's attacking you
That's a
directly,
curse, though. 'Cause you're
your
like,
AC
why aren't
goes
any of you idiots listening?
up. But it is going to do a
No, that's
full,
cool.
full attack against the truck. That's a natural 1. That is not a natural 1. What's the truck's AC?
13.
Caitlin will definitely hit. I actually. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, so the front of the truck takes 15 points of damage,
Okay.
4 of which is acidic damage, as this big giant horn in the front basically pierces through the window, rents up, punctures a hole through the top of the cab, and all these gnashing mandibles are inside the cab with you,
Okay.
essentially biting where Doc just was and tearing the center seat almost out of the truck. Is the truck still alive?
Is it 15 minus 5
Yes.
for alertness? Okay. Yes.
So a truck, worse for wear, still alive. That's going to be it for its turn, bringing us now to the speedy 8 of Thurgood, and you two are on deck.
All right. How much of my action economy can I burn just knocking stuff off?
If you take a full action, you can go ahead and give me an athletics check. Depending on how high you roll, will dictate how many you can maybe knock off.
Yeah. Let's see. Athletics.
Keeping in mind, you are Albert, and I'm pretty sure you have some like weird powerful build thingy.
Maybe.
It like it increases your encumbrance or something like that.
No, actually,
No.
not the bear. No, I get ferocious charge, but that's different.
Okay.
22.
22. So Thurgood sort of like slinging your laser rifle over your shoulder and
Yep.
basically football tackling into this thing as if you're in a training camp of some kind. You manage to knock 2 of them off, easily sort of clattering onto the ground. Hilariously enough, they're removable.
Okay.
Yay.
Worth it.
No,
Perfect.
no.
Oh god. And I
Throw down.
So clonk, clonk, these 2 giant things of honey go splattering onto the ground. Anything else to do, they're good.
that was a full action.
That's
there.
it. Okay.
That's it. All right.
You two.
Can you mute me? I need to grease that.
Of course, I will say, in hindsight, recognizing, take your mic off. Don't unplug it because there's power going through the microphone, and when you unplug it, plug it, it might mess it up. So
Yeah.
take her off. Jesse,
Yeah.
Jesse,
Mute Jesse.
Jesse, mute. Done. Okay.
What do you want to do?
I have a question before. If I jump down, that counts as a move action, doesn't it?
It's part of your movement.
Part of your
Yes.
move.
Yeah. No, he closed the actual
Has
timber.
has
He's fine.
Dr. Scriber told us what he's doing or what he intends to do with the truck?
I mean,
Yes.
I was screaming it.
Yeah, and a cool thing.
You told me for sure.
Yeah.
Cool thing about Starfinder is like combat banter is a pretty big part of the game. It's
Yeah.
not measured in the same way that it is
I
in
just
I do in
want
5e.
that it's gonna judge what I
Yeah,
do.
absolutely.
If I
Yeah,
know,
I'm-
okay. So
You
Maku,
probably saw in the truck the thing wailing around.
I don't want this. Maku is going to jump down
Mhm.
and throw a sticky bomb up and try to hit it,
Certainly.
like up there.
Yep.
He's gonna jump down and he's gonna throw his or get his drone to go into the.
Certainly.
Is there a way in?
Yeah, I would say there's enough panels missing. It can probably find a way in.
Okay, so he's gonna go in there.
'Kay.
And he's gonna throw the sticky bomb.
Certainly. Trying to hit AC5.
7.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, what's your throwing
Oh,
distance?
sorry, it's 8.
Okay, you'll definitely be able to hit, so I need to make a reflex saving throw.
Oh no,
against-
it's to throw an attack.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't hit it.
So we can do scatter. Cool. Roll me a d8.
Okay.
And if you before you roll it, keep in mind there's an intersection like this, and it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 around the clock, as it were. So basically, a 1 or an 8 will still get exactly where you want. Anything beyond that might land on third good.
Or Nival.
Or not.
5.
5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunately, Nival and it are going to be caught into the blast.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
because Thurgood's
is
really like down in the bed of the
D4
truck.
or D.
Yeah.
Sticky bomb
So
is
what do I need to
2d4.
roll?
You need to roll a
It's a
reflex.
Yeah. Well, I don't think so.
Is it target?
I think it's just entangled. So if it
Yeah,
tries
yeah.
to move.
No, but you can avoid the blast.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
It lasts for 6 turns.
6 turns.
Or
my
sorry,
goodness.
5 turns. I can count.
And what is the DC against the grenade?
It is. I wrote it down. 14.
14.
I got 24.
Jeez,
You're
got,
okay.
You got a 24, and I
I'm
rolled a
I'm a
natural.
flippy robot.
And I rolled a natural 1, so you can go ahead and slap Entangled onto the big
I
giant
should still have
creature.
it somewhere.
And there's lots of places to hang it.
So stylish.
And did it land somewhere that's difficult terrain? Did it land on the ship?
No, it
Or-
sort of burst like, in the air.
In the air, so
essentially,
it's just there's no difficult terrain anywhere. It's
yeah.
just
No. Yeah.
entangled. Okay.
All over the side of the ship.
Okay.
Anything else at Amaku?
No, I can't do anything else.
Perfect. CV2.
So is it on our ship right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's on it.
I mean, it's also on the truck and on the ground. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's true. I was gonna say I do know how to crash these ships,
yeah, of course.
but we might need a ship. No, I'm gonna have to punch it in the face.
First world problems.
What?
First world problems.
Yeah.
You got to punch a giant bug in the face.
Whatever. All right, so it's my first round of combat. Let's
Mhm.
go photon mode again.
Okay.
Wah, 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 wah. And do I have a clear line of sight to it?
I would say so, yeah.
We'll say I do.
Yeah, if you can get, again, in base contact with the ship, you can hit it.
All right, because I was back here somewhere.
Yep.
I can do a move action somewhere there, and then whoa, charge. Whoa.
Fantastic.
You can't move in church.
What?
Sure.
You can't
I
move
can.
in. Oh, you can?
With
Okay.
my
I'm
Stellar
sorry.
Rush, I
All right,
can.
I'll
Yeah.
shut my mouth then.
As a standard action, you can make a charge
Sure.
with penalties.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna try. One of the alternate things I can do with my Stellar Rush is a Bull Rush.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that do?
Do you want to look up Bull Rush, Jesse?
Bull Rush, yes. As an action. I don't actually know if I have Bull Rush. Oh, I do. You may knock the target back 5 feet, and you get plus 5 feet for each increment of 5 above the target's combat maneuver defense. Yep.
Okay. Does it mention anything about, like,
Sorry.
egregious size?
Probably, but I don't have it here in my notes.
Yeah,
Quickly look it up.
because it is a little bit bigger than me.
It is a little bit
Just
bigger.
slightly.
I am unmuted, right?
You are unmuted.
Okay,
There you go.
excellent.
Don't know how that's
Bull
gonna work.
Rush. I mean, it doesn't say anything at all
Doesn't
about
say
it.
anything about
Nope.
size. There's probably something about size rules, combat maneuvers.
Nope.
The thing I just looked up does. It says in the RPG core rulebook. And you can only bull rush an opponent who is no more than one size category larger than you.
Oh, there you go. Is he more than one? He's
Oh,
gotta be,
goodness.
Yeah. Well, then I can't do my bull rush at all, and I'll just do my regular
doesn't
attack.
Sorry,
say that
but
a
yeah.
minute ago.
No, of course. It
Not
doesn't
a
say it
problem.
there, so I'm not sure
No,
where
it's
it is.
not in the
but
Starfinder core
it's
player.
passes the smell test in my head.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna say it and hope it doesn't matter. You can go ahead and attack.
Regular attack.
Regular attack,
Not
yeah.
bull rush. All right. So it's still a charge, and I still can't do a full attack.
That's correct.
All right. So regular roll. Oop, 10.
A 10 does not hit,
10 does not
unfortunately.
hit.
So despite all that, all the crazy
All
you're
the
running in,
I tried.
you tried. You unfortunately managed to not hit. Bringing us back to the top of the round, Rulana.
What? Okay, so I'm gonna jam this club into place.
Mhm.
Hold it. Put it in reverse.
Certainly. Chuck it in
Put it in
reverse.
reverse.
Yep.
Oh god.
Who's still on?
Me.
You.
That's fine.
It's all within 6 seconds. It's all
Yeah,
happening.
it's fine.
simultaneously.
It's fine. I think.
Oh, we still okay. Two
It's
is better
fine.
than none.
Do it.
2 in our lives is better than none.
True.
What is that? What?
We'll
part of
we'll call it a move action.
Okay. That's the move action.
Yep. It's like
Oh, but I can
jamming
use my
it.
standard action
Yeah.
as a move to get myself out.
You can dive out essentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as the truck begins, they're like beep beep beep, start to go backwards. It is, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. Jamming the club in place to put it in reverse and jumping out the side. I'm gonna jump out the side that
Certainly.
Maku's on.
Okay.
Mind grabbing you from
Oh.
there?
Right here?
Yeah.
So you're gonna be over here.
Yeah.
And then you can go ahead and drag the truck back a good 15 feet.
Yeah.
Doot, 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 doot. Just beep beep beep, trying its best to get
Will
away.
it be dragged with it?
No, it's not actually grappled.
Okay.
It's not grappling the truck.
That'd be brutal.
If anything, with its horn sort of
Under a
through the roof, it would just like pull
Yeah.
and leave a splice in the top of the truck.
Okay. And that's gonna be it.
Okay, bringing us to where'd my initiative go? There it is. Both of you tied at 14.
Want me to go first again? I'm going to full attack.
Yeah. So with a little bit of space now that the truck is gone.
Oh god, no. For neither.
Oh,
7 and a
wait.
10.
It has
Oh
an
my-
entangled penalty. What does that do again?
Oh, it is entangled.
-2 AC.
It's minus
Minus
2
two.
AC.
It's still
and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
The 7 and a 10.
So you essentially chop through some of the entangling goo, and instead of like getting your own sword stuck and not hitting it, fortunately you find no purchase.
No problem.
Easy peasy. Bringing us to Duck.
I'm going to. I can book it to the back of this, our ship, right?
Probably.
Doesn't look
Yeah. Like that. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45?
Sure.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
To the back of the ship.
Okay.
And I'm hitting the open button.
Certainly just running up. Whoop, I am
Yep.
slamming it, and thankfully, because of the ship's
that open?
wonderful, it does, but we're not going to.
Okay.
Because of its wonderful state of repair, you press the button and the door just flies open,
Yes.
nearly hits you. Whack.
Need a hull.
The door is open.
Um,
And that would have been essentially 2 move actions
Okay.
to get there, right? Because you have
Yeah.
only 30 foot of movement speed, right?
Yep.
Okay. So that's mostly your turn to run up and free action jam the button with your face or fist as hard as you can.
Is there a back end power button to slam? Like core boot up?
No, you need
Okay.
to be in the driver's seat to do so. Okay, so that's done and done, bringing us to Big Giant Bug's turn. Oh boy. Who do I want to try to mush?
mush mush.
Still mad at the truck.
The
Truck
truck
is
is
beeping,
the truck is beeping.
backing up, moving
I'm
away.
thinking.
Still has honey
The
on
only
it.
thing that's attacked it.
I'm thinking. Let's see, how dumb is this thing?
Oh god.
It's pretty dumb. Huh. Thurgood, I'm sorry.
Make it happen.
In a roundabout kind of way.
So he's like behind the cab, remember?
Yes.
I'm in the back.
He's
We
like
can even
down.
put me back there.
Yes, it's not going to matter so much as on top of the spaceship, the big giant bug creature begins to sort of swell up as if it's about to lunge and attack, perhaps down towards your ship itself, when in fact, from a series of little valves or sphincters inside of its mouth, a blast of caustic goo comes spraying out towards, you're right, the beeping truck.
Mhm.
Is a 30-foot line of acid
Yeah.
that affects all targets in direct line of sight, which is everybody only Thurgood and the truck.
And the truck, yeah.
Thurgood, if you can go ahead and give me a reflex saving throw. Or does the truck get a reflex saving throw? I mean,
Probably not.
probably
not.
not.
Did it jump?
It doesn't have a thing for a reflex, so I'm gonna assume no. Would probably be the
I didn't even
pilot.
look at the die until I saw my modifier. 5.
Oh my goodness.
no!
That sounds so bad.
It's pretty rough. So as this big caustic wave of goo comes spraying out, hitting the front of the cab, sort of immediately beginning to melt the front of the cab, melt the windows, melt the A-frames, even behind it, as covered as you are, you would have got a +2 to that for being in cover of sorts. Not going to matter. As you get hit by this caustic wave, dealing 11 points of acid damage,
All right.
destroying one of the honey pots that are there, and dealing 11 damage to the truck as well.
Does the hardness?
It does.
Okay, so 6. So the truck is still
Truck is hanging on.
It's still like
alive, barely.
sort of
One
struggling
corner's dragging in the
to
dirt.
get back, bringing us now to Thurgood. That's it for its turn because it can't
Jump,
move.
my friend.
Barely even flinches. He actually
Barely even
flinches. Somebody point me directly at that thing. I'm not moving from this truck.
Oh no!
Full attack, yeah.
Certainly.
I don't even know why I bothered. 13 and less.
13 and less against EAC.
EAC.
It is entangled. 13 is its AC
Thank God.
against EAC.
D10. 1 fire damage.
Oh no!
Woohoo!
So, in
That
a
is
moment
rough.
of impressiveness, not at all cowed or bowed by this stream of acid, you sort of rise up out of it, and one of them goes blink and hits it in one of its little eyeballs. It pops, it squeals, but it's fine.
Okay. That was my full action.
Bringing us to this side of the table.
Yeah, go.
Maku is going into his goggles,
Mhm.
and through his drone, he's going to check if the ship is flyable. Like it is. I'm trying to
Yep.
assess the damage to see if
Certainly,
we
give me
could
an- give
jump
me
in it right now.
An engineering check, please.
And Meg's no longer muted, right?
That was cocked.
Oh,
Can
yeah,
I
that's a
roll
good
it again?
question. No.
Natural 20.
Beautiful. Yes, the ship is flyable. Now, it's not space-worthy,
But we can
but,
move.
but you can move it at the very
Maku's
least.
just gonna be like, everybody on the ship, we can move it.
Alright.
He can't move. 'cause of the-
That's
he has
it,
to
eh?
use his full action to
To do his goggle
actually, yeah, to take over the drone. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's full action.
Yeah, until like level 7 or something, and then you can do
Okay.
other stuff.
So,
So,
yeah,
your little spider bot found its way through the holes, which are making it not space-worthy, into the inside of the spaceship. Managed to beat the control consoles and let you know that you could certainly fire it up and make it move. Bringing us to CV2.
Oh man. Ugh.
Get on the ship, bro.
Doors open in the back. Oh, I'm gonna make one attack and then move.
Sure.
That is a 16.
That'll definitely hit either AC. Oh my goodness.
How many
Still
ones can we
7.
roll today?
So, punching it with your sun knuckles as you're trying to run by it, sort of upcut it on the way. It thankfully can't make attack for opportunity because it's entangled.
Okay. And I'm gonna move towards the back of the ship. 1, 2, oh, there I am.
Certainly, you just round the corner to see Doc sort of still holding onto the button as the door is open, thankfully not hitting him. Is that all you can do on your turn? Top of the round. Rulana,
Okay, I'm going to.
after tucking and rolling and jumping out of the truck.
Yeah, use a swift action to quick draw my semi-automatic pistol.
'Kay.
And I will take 2 shots at it with that.
Certainly. So this is against KAC, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Means you're a -4 to hit. And it is -2 AC, my guess.
13 and 7. Neither
My
of those
God.
is gonna hit.
So
It's intense.
this is one of the times where you hit, but unfortunately you just can't quite hit the
No.
squishy bits as it's pretty durable carapace deflects most of the shots
Yeah.
entirely. Yeah, so no real damage, unfortunately. Anything else?
No.
Perfect. Nival and Duck.
Oh wait, can I move still?
It's a full action.
No, it's a full
turn,
action. Yeah.
All right, Nival and Duck. What do you have to?
You want to go? Or you want me to go?
If you
You're
want
in
to
the
go,
ship,
I'm
right?
I'm heading in.
So Niva will look over her shoulder and see that Thurgood's like still a long ways away from the ship and
Yeah.
continue on fighting. She's
'Kay.
going to kind of like spread out her feet and take a more defensive stance.
Sure.
She's going to fight defensively and then do an entropic strike.
Beautiful. Swing that katana shitty.
12.
12 against the AC. Even with the
Easy.
entangled, it's not quite enough,
Okay.
unfortunately. But you're at least defensive, so maybe you'll be okay.
That's true.
Anything else
That's
in your turn?
That's it.
Doc.
I'm gonna ask CV2 if you've crashed before, right? Like you can make things move.
I can probably get us off the ground.
All right, I'm just gonna yell at him to the pilot seat, and I'm gonna yell at Thurgood to grab one of those containers and get his ass over here.
Okay.
And I'm going in.
So just jumping on in.
I'm a squishy boy.
So once you're inside the ship proper, you can hear just if it's still stomping around as best it can on top of the ship, and you can hear it buckling in place, but it's still holding.
And did you get did Mako get are we booting up the ship?
Not yet.
No, I only
Not yet.
checked to see if it was runnable.
Yeah, now you
Okay.
could do that.
I'm gonna smack the start button.
Certainly. So after smacking one button, running into the ship, hearing all of it, you sort of push the little spider drone out of the way a little bit and turn the ship on as best you can, and you hear it sort of trying its best to turn on because it's had a bad afternoon at the very least.
I guess can I do an engineering check on it and
Sure.
see what I can start
Sure.
trying to fix? 27.
It becomes readily apparent what you need to fix when as soon as you turn it on, it begins to rattle to life. Several panels inside fall out. One of the hinges on the door break.
I'm gonna get going on that.
You just start trying to collect the pieces as best you can. Putting you inside the ship, bringing us to big giant creature's turn. It's still entangled for like 4 more turns, so it's just going to stay where it is. Doesn't get that ability
It can
back.
still move.
You can?
It's
Yeah,
half
it's-
movement.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
what's the move?
Oh. It does a little bit. One morsel went inside the ship. There's another morsel outside as it goes and crawls down the front of the ship towards Maku.
Oh no.
What's your armor class, good buddy?
My KAC?
Is he moving down off the ship?
Yes, and
Do I
you
get it?
would get an attack of
Thank
opportunity,
you.
and so would
Hey, technically,
CV2.
yeah.
Yes.
14.
Well, I rolled more than that, but you guys can go ahead and get your attack of opportunity, and if you manage to kill it before it gets to Maku, Maku might not get hit. That's a no, I imagine.
That's a nat 1 again.
Okay.
I got 11.
11.
3 nat 1.
So you
Level
both swing at
two.
it as it sort of makes its way down the front of the ship, bringing all the entangling goo with it. I rolled a 19 against Maku.
Uh-oh.
Maku, you're taking 13 points of piercing damage as its entire face nearly envelops you. Yikes. But not quite all of it. That's it for its turn, bringing us to Thurgood, and then you two on deck.
Lordy. All right, so I'm gonna move down. Gonna jump down. I'm gonna pick up one of these things because I want to get paid. Holy shit. Probably whichever one. I would say.
Oh, the other way? Okay.
The other end would probably put me a little closer. I'm just gonna grab it.
Sure.
Does that affect my speed?
It does not, no.
All right. Cool.
Like, it does, but no. It doesn't,
All
doesn't
right.
cross your bulk threshold to the point of being a problem.
So, but in order to pick it up, I wouldn't be able to like take the run action or anything. That would sort of break
Yeah,
up.
I would say. Yeah.
Can or cannot.
Cannot.
Okay. Yeah. So with 40 feet of movement, then as a bear, I'm gonna keep trucking. So
Certainly.
How much is it to get off?
We'll call it 5 feet of movement to hop on down.
5 feet of movement to hop on down. So then that is 1, 2, 3. Or are we doing?
We're doing diagonals, yeah. Sorry.
All right. Somebody help me math.
So it'd be like 5 and then 15,
15,
20,
30,
30.
30.
35.
Yeah.
And you already took 5 to jump off.
Yeah.
So I can get around here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can't get it. You're right.
Boom, 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 jump, jump, jump.
Right there.
Bringing a barrel with you.
All right.
So as
Sounds
you're
like
sort of
a-
watching this thing crawl down the front of the ship,
Sorry, buddy.
barrel in tow, near the back door, ready to hop in, bringing us to Maku and CV2.
CV2 last turn, did you make it to the pilot seat? Or did you
No,
get on
I'm
the ship?
outside at the back of the ship.
Okay, so Maku is booking it. He's using his hyper ability to be able to move double his move speed. And he is booking
I
it to the
forgot about
pilot
that.
seat.
Certainly. Thankfully, it's entangled, so it can't attack. So you're just.
No AOs.
I'm just going to put Maku
Sure.
right here. Put his little drone right next to him. And he is like, is there anything that Maku sees in his he makes it fine to the
Yep.
pilot seat? Is there anything like broken that he sees that is going to inhibit him from being able to take off when
I mean, everything, but at this point, hitting
like
the throttle.
emergency?
Yeah.
Like I can just,
You can just hit the throttle.
I'm just going to be like, get on the ship.
Okay. You're ready. You're ready to go. And if you want to, you could put the throttle right now. But some people are on the ship. It's up to
No,
you.
I'm not going to leave it at anybody.
Bringing us to CV2.
Okay. Can I climb up the back of the ship?
I would say it's sort of cockeyed at such a point that it is certainly doable.
Climbable?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, CV2 is fully charged, as they say.
Oh.
I'm going to climb up the back of the ship.
'Kay.
And get on top of it.
'Kay.
And try and get as close as I can to the creature.
I would say, yeah, without moving it
Technically,
around.
this guy's down. isn't
Yeah,
he?
it's down on the front, sort
Oh,
of
okay.
ish. Yeah. You can definitely get in reach.
Okay. I can't, like, jump on it from here, can I?
No.
All right. Well, then I won't have climbed up the ship if it was down. I'm actually going to run this way.
Yep.
And get, like, behind it again.
'Kay.
And I'm going to explode with the force of 1,000 suns.
So it gets a penalty to its deck saves because it's entangled, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Pretty sure.
But it's only a 12.
Well, I rolled a 13, so can you tell me the penalty?
Penalty from which?
In being entangled?
Entangled is -2.
11.
You take 2d6. Big fat 5.
That
You guys are having no luck at all with your
Oh.
damage.
you don't get a bonus to that?
No, it's just
Level
a
2.
straight.
Oh.
Oh, no, wait. +1. Because I'm in photon mode.
Oh.
So 6.
Unfortunately, not enough to kill it, but as you go sort of slinging around behind it, burst in a ball of flame, a lot of the entangling goo on its rear side gets sort of burned off, along with a part of its rear side, but it's still alive and well.
Yeah.
Bringing us to Rulana.
That's it for me, yeah.
Okay.
It has
So it's like
3 more
pressed
rounds.
right up against our ship there.
Yep.
So I'm gonna take the long way around.
Okay.
And I'll, I guess, double move
Sure.
essentially. So I've got 60 movement I can do to get there.
Are you gonna? Are you? You're.
Yeah.
15, 20, 25, 35, 40.
60.
Oh,
is
60.
what I have.
40, 45, 50, 55, 60. So you're like.
Perfect.
I
One
would say
foot
that.
on.
Yeah,
You're
you're
like
like,
one foot-
grabbing
yeah,
a
foot on
hold of the
the-
covered
yeah.
wagon, getting ready for it to leave. Okay, that's easy for you.
Yeah.
Bringing us to Nival and Doc.
Maku's inside, Doc's in the back.
Yep,
Yep,
I'm
inside.
in the pilot seat.
like revving the engine.
Yeah, I'm like, get the fuck on the ship.
Yeah, okay. I'll take one swing at it and then move.
'Kay.
Do my entropic strike again.
Certainly.
Nat 20.
Hey!
Hey.
Finally.
Yeah, boy.
That is 2. That is 2. Oh, no. 10 points damage. Technically acid damage? Acid type? Does that matter? I can make it bludgeoning, never mind.
You should probably make it bludgeoning.
Yeah, I realized that after he spat acid.
Yeah.
Certainly. So this time, sort of swinging with your sword, you actually do manage to chop off one of its legs, as well as a good portion of one of its sort of smaller claw-sized things. You chop it in half with one fell swoop. It's still alive.
Then yeah, I'm gonna scoot down and
Hop
for-
into the ship?
Yeah, I think I'm close enough that I can. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Bringing us to Doc.
I'm like in now. Yeah, sure.
You said this thing had weapons.
Yes.
Can I access it?
You
at
absolutely
all?
can. Yeah, you absolutely can.
Do any
Got a
of them
laser
work?
cannon is what it
They
said.
do. So it has a laser cannon as well as a missile launcher.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in all this turmoil, all the missiles have been knocked loose. But lasers don't have any moving parts, so you can go ahead if you wanted to, because it's in the front of the ship. Fire out the front of the ship.
I'm gonna do that.
Certainly. So it is weirdly a piloting check.
Oh, okay.
Just because the way the mechanics work,
Okay.
to attempt to hit it, and we will
We're not-
weirdly
we're not
roll
going with
damage
that
dice
guy.
because of the way spaceships and non-spaceships work.
Nope, we don't. I'm not a pilot. I'm not a pilot. I'm a doctor grabbing onto like space guns.
Basically grabbing a hold of the joystick, trying your best to wiggle in what limited movement it has. This huge torrent of laser fire, making even Thurgood jealous, goes flying off into the atmosphere, but does not hit the giant creature at all. And perturbed, it's its turn. It spins around onto your ship and is going to bite your ship.
Do it, coward.
Do
See
we
what
have
happens.
stats for the ship?
You don't, but I do. But I can promise you, no matter what, I mean,
Oh,
No matter what.
It's got to roll pretty well.
it does, yeah. So, it does 14 damage to your ship, but the way that like non-starships versus starships works is not quite the same. Basically, it takes a big chunk out of the front of your spaceship and is still very firmly attached to the front of your spaceship, bringing us to Maku and CV2.
Are you on the
Nope,
ship?
I skipped Thurgood.
Oh.
So I'm gonna hustle the honey into the back, so that's loaded up. We have at least one. Who is that? So CB2 is outside.
Yep.
And that's
Everybody
it.
else is in the ship or ship adjacent.
So is there any way for me to get? So laser cannon fired.
Yep.
On this turn, can I attempt to fire it as well?
No,
Yeah,
only
okay.
once per turn.
Do you have enough room to like lean
I was
out?
gonna say, is there a window I can open?
Yeah, you
Is
could
it-
hang out the back of the ship and take a shot.
Yeah. All right. So that's
Certainly,
what I'm
it would get cover, but you can go ahead.
Oh, Lordy. Okay,
Sorry.
fine. Yeah, I'll take a regular shot then. Got enough penalties as it is. 10.
Oh my god! So you're hitting it. It's just like striking all up
Yeah.
against its flanks, but it's not
It's
making any
nothing
real purchase.
Ugh.
But you're on the ship with some honey.
Yes.
So at least there's that.
Yes.
Bringing us to CV2 and Maku.
I guess I should go first.
You
this
go
time.
first. You go first, yeah.
It's still entangled, so I can't take an attack of opportunity. Can
That's correct.
I? All right. Well, I guess I should run and get on the ship with you guys.
Okay. You,
I have enough movement to do
you do.
that.
You just
Are you the last one on the
sling
ship?
around the side, hop
Yeah.
on in. He is the
Yeah.
last one to get on the ship.
Hit the close button as you go
Yeah.
by.
I
Gotta tailgate
yeah,
up.
I'm not even waiting to check that the closed button is. I am kicking it into whatever gear I need to.
Certainly. Give me a piloting check. We'll see what buttons you press.
Oh, that's actually good. 24.
24. So basically, maybe having 6 arms helps in this case. Because essentially you just go and press every button at once. One of them happens to be the door close button, and you see it struggles and is like listing, partially because you're sitting on it and hanging on the side of it, and it's missing a hinge. The door is not closing, but it's trying to. Also, the missile launcher is cycling, trying to load missiles that have fallen off. The ship does, however, begin to lurch
Thank
into
God.
space, bringing the giant bug with it.
Oh, no.
Because it's affixed to the front of the ship, or the claws hanging in.
He is not trying to go into space because he.
Oh, that will
was-
take time. Yeah.
Okay.
So just trying to get
That'll
off the
go off.
ground, the ship sort of like does this weird, because it was on a weird angle to begin with, begins to just list generally into the sky, bringing this giant crab monster with it. It's still hanging on, however. We are still technically in combat. Huh.
Yeah.
Drop the ship on top
Can
of it.
I still have
Barrel
an
roll.
action, right? Because that only counts. Is that a full action or a standard action?
That's a standard action.
Standard action.
Press
So
zero
I'm gonna
twice.
get my drone to pew pew it with the
The stun
the
gun?
stun gun.
What do you mean non-lethal? Go for it.
This could be episode defining. Go ahead. How many shots?
How many shots?
Oh, you only get to do a
I can
standard
only
action.
get.
Yeah.
I can only
Okay.
do one. Yep.
Please, Lord.
17.
17 hits at the AC.
Not a 1, not a 1, not a 1. 5. Non-lethal.
So,
Did you only have 2 points left?
yes. You would have blown it to pieces had you hit it, but
I would have blown it to pieces.
you would have blown it to pieces.
Oh.
So, as the moat begins to just drift off, listing with the huge weight of probably similar size almost of this giant crab monster, Maku flooring it and pressing all the buttons, still clinging to the inside of the ship, sort of poking its little drone head up through one of the many panels that are missing. Faint little shoots out as a tiny drone tases this massive giant spider thing, non-lethally doing enough damage that it literally goes and just falls off the front of the ship.
Maku is gonna be like, I'm really sorry.
And he watches it just begins to fall down
Oh,
to the
God.
ground.
Rest in pieces.
So the moat taking off, worse for wear, with one thing of honey still remaining. As you're beginning to sort of collect your thoughts, you're watching as the truck is still beep, 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 just backing up in the distance. And unfortunately, in just the span of a minute or two, due to all of its damage it's sustained, it essentially backs off the edge of the ravine and just disappears down with the explosion of honey later on. What do you all want to do? Sort of collecting yourself, gathering yourself inside the grievously damaged moat.
Are there any more of the little things down on the ground under us?
There's a whole bunch, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there like a hover mode that I can put this in to and patch stuff?
So, no. Weirdly enough, which kind of sucks.
Okay.
You gotta find a place to land eventually.
So Maku's just gonna be like, start patching holes.
Mark, I think you'd be better at
near
that.
The
Can
launch
I-
pad
can
where
we swap
out?
entered the landing pad.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Was there like a hangar that the truck
That
was
would
in?
probably be
There
best.
was
This is
a little
the first
building,
time
but it's
I
all
flied a
gone.
ship.
Yeah, it's all
You're doing pretty good.
Thanks.
Yep.
It's-
Okay, just I'm gonna pick you up out of the pilot seat.
And I'm gonna start patching
Alright.
holes.
Certainly. The
Absolutely.
two of you can go ahead and give me engineering checks. As you're starting to patch, you're just trying your best to keep it afloat, essentially, with these guys. This is going to take a little bit of time to do. And as it does, even in the air, you can see that the earthquakes are continuing. The whole time this comet, which was really only like 20 seconds, has been going on, that thrumming mechanical noise you're hearing has continued. And you watch as the big giant ravine that had formed, as you're now airborne, you're noticing that probably the whole time you've been fleeing, it has been continuously changing. You can see that it looks as if maybe the bottom of the ravine is moving, as if it's being dragged along. And as you get more and more altitude, getting farther away from the insects, you get a sort of, spaceship's eye view. And you can see that there are several of such canyons and chasms being formed. No more bugs, go away. Canyons being formed. And they're all seeming to coalesce or converge into one particular point, somewhere in the distance, maybe a couple kilometers away. As the ship is rocking along through its air, what were your two engineering checks, please?
14.
13. You've managed to essentially stick panels back onto the ceiling, but not quite in the right spot. But you're trying to fix it. The ship is still moving through the air. The canyons that were forming were still being dragged. As you get higher, you notice that they're all moving or shifting in the same direction, as if that central point that they're all being drawn to is pulling the very land towards itself. And over the course of maybe 10 or 15 minutes, as you're just sort of finding a holding pattern to try to fix this ship up, you watch as an enormous a mound, a swell begins to form in the center of all these canyons. And slowly but surely, a new mountain almost begins to slowly form over the course of a couple of minutes before it breaks free, casting aside these huge clumps of earth and stone, and hundreds, if not thousands, of feral formians and normal formians are being crushed in the process as huge landslides occur. Emerging from beneath the earth, a very large spherical object has broken free, pulling with it a series of essentially mechanical tendrils of such size and magnitude that they are what has caused these canyons to form, their motion being pulled towards this giant sphere as it begins to make its way up into the air, matching your, maybe not your speed, but certainly your altitude in just a couple of seconds. It begins to move quicker and quicker, these long segmented tendrils dragging up from the ground, almost looking like like a 4-tendrilled octopus as it gets higher and higher. You can also see in this moment, looking up towards the Myoposis, that several of the ships have broken off, probably intentionally, because you can see little motes of light as some of them are making drift travel. They're bailing away. You were told you were on your own? That's kind of the case, because only a part of the Myoposis is left. This big giant sphere that has a sort of almost matte gunmetal color that occasionally pulses with a weird green sort of almost flame that wraps around it, begins to make for orbit directly towards the Myoposis. You get a key in your comm very quickly. You're on your own. And that's where we're going to end this session. This first session, abandoned on the planet of Cerebos with a severely damaged ship, an enormous sphere with tendrils heading towards the Myoposis, your one potential savior. Let's see what happens next time.
So, any actions we want to take, we're going to do next time?
Any actions we're going to take, we'll do next time, yes.
Okay. Giant
Man, oh,
item.
man.
Amazing.